Hey friends, before we dive into tonight's story, did you know that nearly 80% of the people who watch these videos aren't subscribed? If you're enjoying this kind of content, consider hitting the subscribe button. It really helps a lot, and it keeps these long stories going. Also, I'd love to hear from you. What time is it right now where you are, and which city are you listening from tonight? And if these stories help you sleep, feel free to tap the thanks button to support the channel. It truly means a lot. All right, let's get into it. I step out of the cruiser and into the hush, a weightless quiet that presses against my chest like damp canvas. The engine's hum dies behind me, leaving only the soft hiss of my boots in the muddy rut of the forest road. My flashlight's beam slices through the mist in a trembling shaft, illuminating clumps of ferns and the glint of wet bark. Every breath tastes of cold pine and something metallic, like old rain on rusted metal. I flip on the radio mic. "Unit 5, I say, voice low. I'm on foot, beginning search." There is no reply, just static settling into the trees. My boots sink into the soft earth as I move away from the cruiser. The tire's glow fades, and I'm swallowed by shadow. I know this stretch of Black Hollow Woods, patrolled it dozens of times, but never like this. Never with the memory of a faint child's scream echoing in my headset. Never with footprints that led away from an empty sedan and toward the hush of ancient trunks. Tonight, the forest feels alive, leaning in, watching. I follow the boot prints at the forest's edge, single, deliberate, heading into the undergrowth. The prints vanish beneath a tangle of roots and fallen leaves. I crouch, brushing away debris. Beneath, a scuff of mud on leather, size 10, maybe 10.5. I trace the pattern with my fingertip. The earth is cold, reluctant to give up its secrets. My heart hammers. I slip on gloves and collect a leaf fragment caught in the treads. Evidence, bio, God knows what. Standard protocol. I rise, snapping the glove back. The beam swings upward, shapes in the mist. A fallen signpost jutting from the earth, its arrow long since rotted away. A rusted fire ring, ringed with black stones. Nothing living. I move on, my radio crackles. Backup ETA 5 mics, dispatch says. Better. I keep walking. Every few paces the beam catches something. A scrap of fabric snagged on brambles, a battered water bottle half hidden in ferns, a child's plastic toy wheel lying in the mud. The wheel spins when I tap it, echoing like a laugh in the hush. I pocket it. Evidence. At 2:12 a.m., I reach the collapsed footbridge. The rotten planks lie jagged across the ravine. Water flows beneath, black and mirror still. I crouch at the edge, training my light on the surface. No ripples, no broken wood. If someone fell, there would be disturbance. I peer downstream. Mist skitters across the water like pale ghosts. My breath fogs. I stand. I step across the first plank. It groans. My weight shifts, and the wood cracks. I freeze, listening. Nothing. The beam flashes across the opposite bank. Footprints, smaller, bare, a child's size 8. They lead away from the bridge, toward a tangle of laurel and hemlock. Dispatch, I've got juvenile prints heading south. I whisper into the mic. Following on foot, I push into the tangle. Branches claw at my jacket. My flashlight flickers as I step on a loose root. I right it. The beam catches something white draped over a stump. Fabric, a scrap of cotton. I kneel, a shredded sleeve, pink with dried mud, a sniff of copper on my glove. Blood? I swallow. I stand and sweep the beam higher. Movement, a flicker at the edge of vision. I spin, nothing. My pulse thunders. I press on. At 2:20 a.m., I come to a clearing. Moonlight weakly breaking through a thinning of trees. In the center lies an overturned backpack, small, red, the child's pack. I approach slowly, boots squelching. The pack's zipper is open. Inside, an empty water bottle, a half-eaten granola bar, a Polaroid photo stuck inside the flap. I pull it free. The photo shows a little girl standing in front of the cruiser, flashlight in hand, eyes wide. On the back, scrawled in black ink, "Find her." No signature, no date, just that. My radio crackles. "You copy, Unit 5. "Copy," I say, sliding the photo into an evidence bag. "I've got the pack. Photo indicates possible juvenile victim. Need perimeter teams." "Roger. Teams are en route. Stand by." I step back into the trees. The mist thickens, swallowing the clearing. I can almost hear the forest breathing. I follow the small prints again. They lead uphill toward a cluster of ancient pines. Their trunks are huge, girdled by lichen, twisting skyward like cathedral columns. The ground here is carpeted in needles. Sound is muffled. My boots make no echo. Then a soft sob, high, frightened. I freeze. The beam swings. Between two trees, a shape huddles. A child, barefoot, knees drawn to chest, hair tangled. I crouch. "Hey," I say gently. "It's Officer Reynolds. You okay?" She looks up, eyes wide as saucers, filled with tears and fear. She holds something clutched to her chest. A doll, its face blank, stained. I ease forward. "It's okay," I whisper. "You're safe now. Can you tell me your name?" She doesn't answer, just stares, trembling. I glance around. No sign of anyone else. Just the hush. I lift my flashlight higher, revealing the broken bridge below, the empty cruiser further back. I pull a thermal blanket from my vest and wrap her. She whimpers. I brush hair from her face. She smells of earth and fear. "Did someone hurt you?" I ask. She nods once, violently. Tears streak her cheeks. "Okay," I say. "We're going to get you out. Just hold on." I pick her up gently. Her limbs are light as sticks. I radio again. "Unit 5. One female juvenile in custody. I'm carrying her back to the cruiser. Send medical." As I turn, I catch something in the beam. Footprints. Larger ones circling the clearing. Boot prints. Fresh. Whoever brought her here is still close. I pause, heart thudding. The prints form a loose ring around us, then lead back into the trees. I glance at the girl. She presses the doll tighter. I swallow. "Let's go," I whisper. I step back toward the path. At the edge of the clearing, the mist parts. A figure stands there, tall, hunched, face obscured by hair. The beam catches a flash of white fabric. The thing tilts its head. I freeze. "Hey!" I shout, raising my flashlight like a weapon. The figure steps forward, one slow step. The doll in the girl's arms quivers. "Drop her!" I bark. The figure tilts again, as if studying me, and then retreats into the mist. I don't hesitate. I sprint, child in arms, back down the slope. Roots grab my boots. I stumble, nearly fall, but keep running. Behind me, the trees whisper. I don't look back. I burst into the clearing with the cruiser's lights cutting through the fog. The juvenile in my arms finally speaks. "She needs blood," she murmurs, voice trembling. I set her down gently and kneel. "We'll take care of you," I say. Paramedics arrive. Flashlights bob, voices hushed but urgent. They take the girl. I watch as they wrap her, load her onto a stretcher. Then I turn back to the woods. The mist coils between the trunks. The deputy beside me shines a light into the darkness. "Anything else, Reynolds?" I swallow. I think something's still out there. My radio crackles. "All units, be advised. Officer on scene reports juvenile recovered. Possible suspect still at large in Black Hollow Woods. Proceed with caution." I step back, heart still hammering. The mist drifts across the beam. The trees sway as if in applause. I close my eyes, listen. The forest exhales. At 2:34 a.m., I radio in one more time. Dispatch, send search dogs and bring night vision. We're not done. And as the engines roar to life, the darkness behind me seems to watch and wait. I climb into the cruiser, hands trembling on the wheel. The Polaroid lies on the dash, face up, the girl's flashlight beam, frozen in time, pointing back into the woods. I glance at it, swallow. We'll find them, I murmur. But the forest doesn't answer, only the mist, drifting, endless and alive. The cruiser's engine idles low as I back out of the clearing, tires churning mud onto the edge of the forest road. Behind me, red and blue lights from the arriving units flicker against the trees like warning beacons. I kill the engine and step out, pulling the cruiser door almost closed behind me so the girl's Polaroid on the dash catches the light. A pale beam pointing back into the misty woods. "Reynolds," calls Deputy Vargas, voice hushed. He's kneeling by the edge of the clearing, inspecting the larger boot prints that circle where I found her. These prints, they just stop here, like whoever made them vanished. I crouch, shining my flashlight on the mud. The prints are deep, spaced wide, long strides, then nothing. No drag marks, no sign of departure. My gut twists. Or they stepped into something, I say. I glance toward the dark tree line. We need night vision teams in, thermal if we can get it. Over my shoulder, the girl's faint sobs drift from the ambulance. She's being prepped for transport by medics. I want to stay, to watch her, but duty pulls me back to the hunt. I tap my radio. "Unit 5, I'm heading in with K9 and night vision. Meet me at the bridge in 5. Vargas stands and nods. "Be careful. Something about this place, it's wrong." I don't answer. I shoulder my pack, extra magazines, a handheld thermal imager, my duty pistol, and step into the trees. The mist closes behind me. 20 feet in, the forest hush swallows me. The only sound is my own breath and the distant hum of generators from the staging area. I click on the thermal imager. The screen glows orange and purple. Trees are cool. My body heat a bright white blob. I sweep left. No heat signatures. I sweep right. Nothing but cold shapes. I move southwest toward the broken bridge. K9, Unit Peterson on my radio, telling me tracker is ready. The dog, an 8-year-old German Shepherd, knows these woods. We trained for scenarios like this, but not quite like this. I push broken branches aside. The ground is soft, spongy with needles. Every step I take registers on the thermal screen as a bright splotch that fades seconds later. At 2:50 a.m., I reach the footbridge. Moonlight filters through the canopy, pooling on the shattered planks. I crouch and run the thermal across the ravine. The water is cold, dark purple, no heat. On the far bank, a flash of white. Tracker's harness glowing faintly. The dog stands alert, ears pricked, staring into the trees. "Tracker," I whisper. He whines once. I click my mic. Tracker's on point. He's picked up a scent. Juvenile human, heading north. Behind me, I hear Peterson's voice crackle. "Copy that. I'm moving in." I train my light on the far bank. The smaller footprints end where I found the girl. The larger prints circle here. But now, Tracker's leash goes taut as he lunges forward, into the undergrowth. He barks once, then disappears into shadow. I follow, scrambling over the broken planks. The underbrush is thick. Laurel, hemlock, fallen logs. My boot catches on a root and I tumble forward, smashing my flashlight into the mud. The beam flickers, then dies. Heart slamming, I fumble for my spare. Click. Light returns. Tracker emerges ahead, nose to the ground, tail stiff. I crouch and watch the thermal screen. A small heat trail low to the ground. He's tracking something warm, breathing warm. I slip the thermal into my vest and draw my pistol. Every hair on my neck stands up. The dog moves slowly, deliberately, scenting. The footprints lead up a slight rise toward a thicket of saplings. I crouch behind a fallen tree and peer through the night vision goggles clipped to my helmet. The world transforms. Greens and grays and bright white eyeshine somewhere ahead. Tracker stops at the edge of a hollow, an expanse of knee-high ferns. My night vision picks up something, a flicker of movement. 2 points of white, eyes staring back. The dog growls low. I raise my voice, calm but firm. Tracker, heel. He reluctantly retreats. The eyes vanish. My breath catches. I step forward, heart cracking against my ribs. The air smells of damp earth and something else, ozone or copper. I sweep my light across the ferns. Nothing. Then a rustle, soft, deliberate. I whirl. The beam catches a slender leg, barefoot, slipping behind a stump. I flick the light back. Nothing. I radio in. Reynolds, I got movement at grid 12 alpha. Juvenile heat signature, no, 2. 1 adult, 1 child, both moving north. Copy, Peterson says. I'm 30 seconds out with K9 backup. I move after the prints, aiming my light low. The trail weaves between trees, then suddenly stops at the base of a huge pine. The bark is scarred, clawed. Thermal shows vertical heat streaks. I place my hand on the trunk. It trembles faintly. My heart pounds so loud I'm sure the forest can hear. Then, a soft cry. Child's voice, whimpering, "Please, help." I drop to one knee. The whisper comes from behind a cluster of saplings. I push branches aside. Beneath, curled in a shallow root depression, is a small form. A boy, maybe 6, shaking. His eyes huge. Mud coats his arms. I reach out gently. "Hey buddy, it's okay, I've got you." He looks up, eyes wild. "She's here," he whispers. "She's waiting." A breeze stirs the canopy. The saplings sway. I glance up. The branches overhead form strange shapes in the night vision, like limbs reaching. I swallow. "Let's get you out," I say. I scoop him up. He presses against me, weightless. I check his forehead. Warm. Alive. Good. "Tracker," I call. The dog appears, silent. I pat his harness. "Good boy." I stand and turn back the way we came. The night vision shows the boy's heat against my uniform, a bright spot. I scan for the adult heat signature. Nothing. The mist drifts through the trees, swirling around us. I radio, Unit 5, juvenile male secured. No adult signature in immediate area. Request thermal sweep. "On it," comes the reply. I move through the ferns. Boy cradled in one arm, pistol in the other. Every snap of a twig echoes like a gunshot. The forest seems to close in. I follow the path of cloven prints, tracker leading. At 2:58 a.m., we reach the broken bridge clearing. Moonlight pools. The boy's sister's backpack lies where I left it. I kneel and set him down gently. He clutches the doll, now missing one arm. He stares at it. "Where's your sister?" I ask softly. He trembles. She went that way," he says, pointing back into the woods. I glance at Tracker, whose stance is rigid, staring past me. I turn my light. Between 2 trees, just beyond the mist, stands a woman. Tall, hair long and tangled, white dress stained brown. She tilts her head as if curious. Her eyes glow faintly in the night vision. My breath catches. The boy whimpers and steps back. I raise my pistol, hand shaking. "Police! Don't move!" I shout. The figure doesn't move. The mist swirls at her feet. Then she lifts one pale arm and points toward the bridge. Her lips part, but no sound comes. She smiles slow and wide. My radio crackles urgently. Reynolds, thermal sweep, negative on adult human. What the? I don't answer. I step forward, heart hammering. The figure's smile widens. She raises both arms, and the mist behind her coils upward, shapes swirling like wraiths. I glance at the boy. He's frozen, eyes locked on her. I glance back. She fades, one moment solid, the next transparent, then gone. The mist collapses inward, leaving only empty air. My night vision flickers. The forest returns to silent green and black. I lower the pistol. "Get him out," I say into the mic. "Now." Tracker nudges the boy. I scoop him up again. We race for the cruiser. Behind us, the trees stand silent, watching. As I climb in, I catch the Polaroid on the dash, now flipped face down. I reach to pick it up. The image has changed. The girl's flashlight beam now points not at the woods, but at me. Officer Reynolds, standing alone in the mist. I stare. My breath hitches. I flip it over. On the back, in fresh ink, "Find me." I don't know who wrote it. I don't know how. But I know we're not done. The forest exhales, and somewhere, in the hush beyond the lights, something laughs. I sit in the driver's seat for a moment, hands trembling on the wheel. The cruiser's headlights carve two pale paths through the mist, illuminating the swirling fog and the slick ruts of mud. Behind me, deputies unload the children. First, the girl wrapped in a foil blanket, then the boy, clutching his blood-stained doll. Paramedics bustle around them, voices hushed but urgent. I kill the engine and step out again, the night air hitting me like a wave. "Reynolds," Deputy Vargas says, approaching with his flashlight trained on the tree line. "They're loading the kids into the ambulance. You okay?" I nod, swallowing hard. "We've got to find her, whoever she is." He glances at the dark woods. Thermal sweep is negative. K9 lost the scent about 50 yards in. It's like she vanished. I look back toward the broken bridge clearing. The mist drifts across the moonlight, hiding everything beyond a few feet. Then we widen the net. Foot patrol, ATV teams, thermal drones. We push north toward the old logging road. Vargas nods and radios the command post. I walk back to the cruiser and grab my flashlight, vest, and portable radio. Everything else, evidence bag, spare mags, stays in the back. I need to move light and fast. At 3:05 a.m., I'm back on foot, heading north along the trail the boy pointed out. Tracker's leash is clipped to my belt. He pads silently beside me, nose low. The night vision goggles cast the world in shifting greens. The thermal imager shows only cold shapes. I switch to the flashlight when the trail forks, two muddy paths diverging under ancient pines. I crouch, studying footprints in the mud. The larger boots veer left, the smaller prints head right. But then the child's prints stop right at the fork. The adult prints continue left and right, overlapping, as if pacing, hesitant. My gut twists. "Tracker, point," I whisper. The dog hesitates, then noses down the left fork. I follow. The path slopes upward. Roots twist like serpents beneath my boots. The air grows colder. My breath steams. I check my watch. 3:12 a.m. Backup unit's headlights are faint behind me, bobbing as they navigate the muddy road. I switch off my flashlight and move on, night vision alone. Less chance of spooking anyone. The trees thin, opening onto an old clearing choked with brambles and toppled logs. Moonlight glints off broken machinery, rusted gears from long-abandoned logging equipment. The ground is strewn with decaying boards and twisted metal. In the center lies a battered camper shell, its windows dark and dirty. Tracker growls softly. I sweep my light over the shell. The door is ajar. My heart hammers. I holster the pistol and approach silently, hand on the door frame. The camper's interior is shadowed. Mildew and mold cling to the walls. I click on the interior light. Nothing happens. I flick my flashlight in. Empty bunks, a small table, a shattered lantern on the floor. Then a smear of mud on the mattress. Dark, sticky. I crouch, examine it. Not blood, but old leaves and fresh earth. Someone slept here recently. I stand and scan the trees. The mist drifts low. A twig snaps. I spin. Flashlight beam strikes the far window. A silhouette retreats into the darkness. I yank open the camper door and step inside, raising my voice. "Police, come out." Silence. Then the soft click of something dropping outside. I slip out and see a flashlight lying in the mud. Child-size beam, cracked lens. I pocket it. Tracker sniffs at a broken board near the camper's wheel well. I crouch, more small footprints, muddied, leading away toward the tree line. I tap my radio. "Reynolds, I've got juvenile flashlight in evidence. Prince heading west." "Copy. UAV drone inbound," comes the reply. I move after the prince. The boy's path seems aimless, looping, doubling back, until it crosses the adult prince again. Then both sets head into a stand of young firs. The ground here is carpeted with needles. Sound is muted. I switch to thermal. The fir trunks are cool purple, my heat a bright spot, Tracker a glowing form at my side. Through the goggles, I see something I don't expect. A heat signature low to the ground, drifting across the needles, like a small animal, but it moves with purpose, weaving between trees. I raise my voice softly. "Tracker down." He sits. I crouch, aiming the thermal imager. The small heat moves again, then stops behind a fallen trunk. I click on the flashlight. Beneath the trunk lies the girl's doll, missing its head. Warm blood seeps from the stump where it rests. I swallow. The doll's empty neck cavity faces me like a hollow eye. My radio crackles urgently. "Reynolds, drone on station. Give us a grid." I whisper coordinates. The drone's whir arrives overhead, a faint mechanical hum. I turn my attention back to the forest floor. The doll, evidence of something awful. I slip on gloves and bag it. Tracker stiffens, ears pricked. I look up. Between two firs, I see her again, the woman in white. She stands perfectly still, head tilted, staring. I raise my flashlight. "She's here," I whisper. The woman lifts one finger to her lips in a shushing gesture. I feel the hairs on my neck rise. Then she steps forward, silent, into the clearing. The mist swirls at her feet. I raise my pistol. "Don't move." She smiles, a slow, sad curve of lips, and holds up the missing doll head in her hand. It's pale, smooth plastic, streaked with mud. She twirls it like a locket on her finger. My stomach turns. I can't tear my eyes away. The doll head's blank gaze reflects my flashlight. She opens her mouth, but no sound comes, only the soft slap of mist against her dress. I radio, subject in sight, adult female, white dress. I stop. The figure's head tilts back. Where a face should be, there is only mist, drifting, swirling, then dissipating into the night air. The shape of her skull is gone, just a void of darkness. I step back, heart slamming. Tracker whines. The clearing is empty. Only the camper shell, the broken machinery, the scattered boards. The mist parts. The drone's spotlight cuts through overhead, illuminating nothing but trees. My radio crackles. "Unit 5, what's your status?" I swallow. Negative visual, clearing is empty. "Copy, thermal?" I check the imager. No heat signatures, nothing but cold purple. I lower the pistol, my hands shake. I glance at the tree line, expecting her to step out again. But there's only mist and trunks. I turn and head back to the cruiser. Tracker at my side. Each step feels like wading through water. My heart races so loud I can hear it in my ears. At 3:22 a.m., I reach the ambulance where the children are loaded. The paramedic meets me, eyes wide. "They're stable," she says. "They'll need observation, but physically they're okay. Psych evaluation next." I nod, barely registering. I pull out the Polaroid from the dash and hold it. The image has shifted again. Now it shows the camper shell in the clearing, empty, under moonlight. Except there's a figure in the doorway, white and featureless. I stare, breath catching. On the back, new writing, "You saw me." I slide it into my pocket. Behind me, the forest exhales a soft sigh. The mist drifts into the clearing, swirling around the camper. I glance back one last time. In the window, I swear I see a face, pale, hollow, smiling. Then it's gone. I clamp my jaw. "Let's get out of here," I say to Tracker. I climb into the cruiser. As the engine roars to life, I look at the rearview mirror. In the mist beyond the lights, I see her. Tall, pale, hair drifting, watching us leave. And I know the woods will claim this night. Because she's not done playing. I cut the engine and step into the damp chill, leaving the cruiser's glow behind. Tracker pads silently at my side, every sense on high alert. The forest ahead is an inky wall pierced only by the weak beam of my flashlight. I press forward, mind replaying the Polaroid's latest message. "You saw me." Branches scrape my jacket as I skirt the edge of the clearing, heading west toward the logging road. The mud squelches underfoot. Every breath comes in sharp bursts. Somewhere ahead, the drone's spotlight sweeps across treetops, but down here it's just me, the dog, and the hush. At 3:30 a.m. I reach the logging road, rutted tire tracks leading north into thicker woods. I tap my radio. Unit 5, moving north on logging road. Trackers on scent, adult and juvenile cold. "Copy," Vargas replies. "We've got a TV teams converging." I follow the ruts, careful not to obscure the prints. Tracker's leash grows taut as he drags me off the road into a stand of young cedars. I crouch. The dog's nose is inches from the ground, tail stiff. I sweep with my light. There. An imprint in the soft earth. A small handprint beside a boot print. The child's handprint is smeared, desperate. I snap a photo with my phone for evidence, then bag the boot tread sample with mud. Protocol says mark the spot, but I can't linger. I whisper, "Let's go," and push deeper. The trees close in, the air grows colder. My breath mists in front of me. The path slopes down into a shallow gully. The ruts fade, only footprints remain. I switch off the flashlight and click on night vision goggles. The world glows in ghostly green. Tracker's form is a bright shape ahead. He halts at the gully's edge, nose raised. I step forward and freeze. Ahead, the gully floor is carpeted with decaying leaves, and scattered among them, the girl's missing doll arm, cracked plastic, mud-caked. My stomach twists. I kneel and pick it up. The pale plastic is slick with damp, no blood. I bag it. A soft sob echoes from the far side. I raise my voice softly. "Officer Reynolds." Come out slowly. Floor-length shadows shift among the trees. Two shapes emerge, the juvenile boy and girl, pale in the night vision glow, eyes wide. The boy clutches the headless doll. The girl holds her knees, trembling. I exhale. "You're okay, I've got you." I step forward, palms raised. They don't move. The mist drifts across their feet. The girl's lips part. She's here. I follow their gaze into the trees. The night vision picks up nothing but trunks. I switch back to flashlight. Beam quivers across the trunks. Then, there, a flash of white, a slip of fabric between two oaks. She's there. I murmur and raise my pistol. The children huddle behind me as I approach. Tracker growls low. I sweep the light, empty air, the mist coils, then parts to reveal the woman in white standing a dozen feet away, head bowed. Her hair drapes over her face. "Don't come any closer," I warn. She tilts her head. I see her pale neck, no features, just smooth mist. My heart pounds. The children whimper. I step forward. "Show yourself." She raises her arms slowly. The mist around her thickens into shapes, faces. Silent mouths open in silent screams. I stagger back. The girl screams. The shapes swirl and vanish. The woman steps forward, solid now. Eyes black voids. She smiles. "Please," the boy whispers. "She needs blood." The woman intones in a hollow voice that echoes. My mind reels. I lower the pistol. "What do you want?" She lifts a finger and points deeper into the woods. I glance at the children, terror etched on their faces. I click my radio. Reynolds, subject directing me deeper. "Children safe here." "Negative?" Vargas crackles. "We're pinned down. Thermal can't penetrate that thicket." I look back at the woman. The mist shifts at her feet, forming a narrow path. Against every instinct, I step onto it. Tracker whines but follows. The children cling to my legs. We move down the path of mist. The trees arch overhead, branches twisting into grotesque shapes. The air tastes metallic. Every breath makes my chest burn. The flashlight flickers. At 3:44 a.m., we emerge into a small clearing I've never seen. At its center, an ancient stone well, its rim covered in moss. The mist pours from its mouth like smoke. The woman stands by the well, doll head balanced on the stone. She waits below, the woman whispers, voice like wind through dead leaves. I shine the light into the well, blackness, no bottom visible. The mist coils upward, forming pale arms. My skin crawls. "Get back," I shout, pulling the children away, but the woman places a hand on my arm, cold as ice. I freeze. "Blood," she breathes. The boy clutches the doll. The doll's head tilts, as if nodding. The girl sobs, "She needs blood." I glance at the well. The mist inside churns, and I think I see a face, pale, desperate, pressing against the darkness. My radio crackles frantic. "Reynolds! Command wants evac. Get out now." I look at the kids, then the well, the face in the mist, mouth open in silent plea. I grip Tracker's harness. "Move." I sprint back up the path, children in tow. The woman's laughter echoes, low, hollow, blending with the wind. The mist closes behind us, erasing the path. We burst into the logging road. ATV teams converge, lights blazing. I hand the children to medics. They cry. "We saw her." She pointed. I turn back. The woods stand silent. The mist drifts off the well, unseen now. My radio, Unit 5, status? I swallow. We're clear, but there's a well and something down there. They sigh relief. I leash Tracker. My legs tremble. I look once more at the tree line. The forest exhales, and in the fading mist I swear I see her silhouette, standing at the edge, watching. I slide the Polaroid from my pocket. The image is blank white. On the back, a single word. Soon. The forest road's mud clings to my boots as I climb back into the cruiser, Tracker pressing close beside me. Dawn is still hours away. The sky is a flat, starless black. Behind us, deputies fan out along the logging road, voices low over radios. The children's screams still echo in my ears. She needs blood. And the image of that endless well, its mist churning like living things, will not leave me. I kill the engine and sit for a moment, heart hammering. The Polaroid in my pocket is blank white. I turn it over and over, searching for some clue. Nothing. "Reynolds!" Vargas's voice crackles through the speaker. Command wants a sit rep. I press the mic. We've secured the juveniles. No sign of the woman or any adult heat signatures past the clearing. We found her doll's arm and head, bagged. The well is there, but no teams have approached it. The subject, if that's what she is, vanished into the mist. Understood. Resume perimeter. Evidence tech en route. I end the transmission and stare at the mist-shrouded trees. The forest exhales, a slow sigh that rattles the cruiser's windows. I step out again. The children's ambulance is gone. Only Tracker and me remain. I shine the cruiser's headlights down the logging road. Tire tracks, footprints, then nothing. The path into the woods yawns like a question. I crouch and unclip the Polaroid. The surface is slick with condensation. I exhale on it. A single word appears in spidery script. Remember. My pulse spikes. I flip it over. On the back now, the image of the well. Moonlight on mossy stone. Mist pouring like water. And at the rim, 2 pale hands reaching out. I swallow. Remember what? The girl's plea? The boy's whisper? The forest's secret? I slip the photo into my pocket and stand. Tracker whines, nudging my leg. I nod. We move toward the trees. The undergrowth is silent. Every branch, every needle seems hushed in anticipation. I raise my flashlight. The beam trembles across angular trunks, rotting stumps, and the broken machinery half buried in ferns. I stop at the camper shell. Its door hangs open, yawning like a wound. I hesitate, then step inside. The interior light flickers on its own. The bunks are empty. The shattered lantern lies on the floor. I sweep my light across the walls. Scratch marks, like claws, gouged into the metal. Tracker's hackles rise. A low growl rumbles in his throat. I step back. The door slams shut behind me. My heart leaps. I grab the frame and pull it open. Empty night. The mist shifts between the trees. I stumble back to the cruiser. My radio springs to life. Reynolds, you there? I tap the mic. I'm fine. Found scratch marks in the camper. Subject may have sheltered there. Stand by. Evidence Tech ETA 2 mics. I kill the radio. Tracker noses at the doll head pouch on the passenger seat. I open it. The head is intact, its blank stare luminous in the flashlight beam. I close the pouch. At 4:05 a.m., a single evidence tech arrives, Sergeant Miller, carrying a camera and evidence markers. We work in silence. He photographs the camper interior, the claw marks, the broken doll parts. I mark the well's location on GPS. Miller glances at me. You okay? I nod, though my voice sticks in my throat. She pointed us here. He shivers. Let's get out before that mist swallows us too. We head back to the cruiser. As I climb in, I notice the Polaroid on the dash, face up, though I left it pocketed. The image now shows Officer Reynolds, me, standing at the well's edge, head bowed, hands gripping the rim. And in the darkness below, dozens of pale faces stare up at me, mouths open in silent screams. I freeze. I didn't put it there. Miller sees it. His eyes widen. Reynolds, get a load of this. I press the brake and slide across the seat. The faces shift, the mist swirling among them, rising like a tide. I flip the photo. On the back, newly scrawled, the words, "Join us." My blood runs cold. I drop the Polaroid and it drifts to the floor. I glance out the windshield. The tree line is empty, silent. Let's go, I whisper. I start the engine. The headlights sweep the road. As we pull away, I look in the rearview mirror. For a heartbeat, I see her silhouette standing in the fog. The woman in white, pale and featureless, hand raised in farewell. Then she vanishes into the mist. I exhale, shaking. Miller sits beside me, silent. Tracker's whine fills the cab. I know we'll return. I know we'll have to face what's down that well. Because the Polaroid's command is clear. Remember, join us. In the forest, it's waiting. I swallow hard as the cruiser's headlights recede, leaving the mist to reclaim the clearing in that silent well. Tracker's panting echoes in the cab, a reminder that we're not alone in this night. Sergeant Miller glances at me through the rearview mirror, eyes tight. Neither of us speaks as the road narrows, ruts filled with muddy water reflecting ghosts of trees. My mind replays the Polaroid's final message. Join us. Why was I in that photo staring into a pit crowded with pale faces? Why did the woman in white beckon me toward the well? The forest seems to lean closer, branches tapping like bony fingers on the cruiser's roof. I rub my temples. We reach the edge of the staging area. ATVs parked, flashlights bobbing as deputies compare notes. The children's ambulance has departed. News choppers circle overhead. I kill the engine. Miller follows me out, kneeling to inspect the ground where I dropped the Polaroid. It lies face up in the mud, water seeping into its edges. The image has shifted again. Now, it's just blackness, like a void. On the back, new writing bleeds through. Soon. I pick it up gingerly. Tracker pads around us, sniffing at disturbed earth. We need to mark that well, I say. Evidence tech should map it, permanent closure. Nobody goes near it. Miller nods, but his face is pale. I've never seen prints like these, like something out of folklore. I fold the Polaroid into an evidence envelope. Folklore's real tonight. At 4:30 a.m., we set perimeter lights around the well. Orange halogen beams cast long shadows. Surveyors drop flags. Crime scene tape rustles in the breeze. I stand by the well's rim, peering into the black throat. The mist inside swirls like smoke, hiding the bottom. I lean forward, heart in my throat. For a moment, I think I see shapes at the bottom. Hands, faces. But the fog shifts and they vanish. I step back. My radio crackles. Reynolds, command wants you at base camp. I nod and walk away, Tracker at my heel. Behind me, the well seems to sigh. In the mobile command trailer, deputies argue over next steps. Drones, K9, thermal sweeps, all negative. The children's statements are consistent. The woman led them here. They saw the well's depths. They heard whispers. Psychologists want to interview them. Forensics want to dust the well rim. I just want to leave. But I'm the case officer. I pull the children's statements folder from the stack. The girl's drawing. A stick figure woman in white pointing at a jagged hole. The boys scribble. She says blood, we hear them. Them. Who are them? I close the folder. I recommend we fill the well, I say, voice hollow. Prevent anyone else from falling in, literally or otherwise. Captain Hayes, gray at the temples, frowns. Filling a historic well. We need permission. I meet his gaze. Permission from whom? The dead? He glances at the tape, the flags, then sighs. Okay, let's secure it, cover it, no more access. By dawn, a crew rigs a steel grate over the well. I watch as each bar is bolted, shutting off that dark mouth. The mist dissipates slowly, drifting away with first light. The forest exhales one last time. I slip away to the cruiser. Tracker jumps in. I pull the Polaroid from my vest pocket, blank white once more. I tear it in half. The pieces curl in my hand like wounded petals. I drop them out the window. They flutter into the mud. For a moment, I almost believe it's over. But later that afternoon, back at precinct, I find an envelope on my desk. No name. Inside, a single Polaroid. I stare at the image, me in full uniform, standing in my living room at home. flashlight in hand, staring at my wife and child asleep in their beds. The timestamp reads 3:47 a.m., minutes after we rescued the children from the woods. On the back, in tiny scrawl, next time. My blood runs cold. I look up. The precinct hallway is empty, fluorescent lights humming. I slide the photo into my pocket and step outside. The sky is a bruised purple. The sun threatens the horizon. I breathe deep, the morning air tasting of damp asphalt and diesel. "Tracker," I murmur, kneeling to stroke his head. He wags his tail but whines softly, as if he knows something's wrong. I stand. I drive home in silence, eyes flicking to the rearview mirror. No sign of mist, no sign of her. But I know she's out there, watching, waiting. The forest's secret has followed me home. At my house, I pause at the gate. The porch light is on. My wife's silhouette moves behind the curtains. My daughter's laughter drifts out, a normal, happy sound. My chest tightens. I step onto the porch, heart jostling. I unlock the door. The Polaroid burns in my pocket. Inside, everything is ordinary. Family photos on the wall, my daughter's drawings on the fridge, and the soft glow of the TV. I swallow. I lay the Polaroid on the kitchen table, face up. It's blank, white as before. I exhale. Coffee's on. My wife calls from the living room. I nod, forcing a smile. "Be right there." She glances at the table. "What's that?" I look down. Nothing. The Polaroid has vanished. My heart stutters. I bend, searching the floor, empty. I glance at the door, locked. No one could have taken it. A soft breeze drifts through the open window, carrying the faint scent of pine and damp earth. I close the window. That night, I lie awake, flashlight by the bed. Tracker sleeps at my feet, one eye open. The house is quiet, too quiet. I stare at the ceiling, listening for the snap of a twig, the whisper of mist. At 3:47 a.m., I wake with a start. The flashlight is gone from the nightstand. My hand closes on empty wood. In the darkness, I hear a soft click, like a camera shutter. I flip on the lamp. The beam falls on the photo frame by my wife's bedside, our family portrait. The glass is cracked, one thin fracture radiating from center. My blood drains. I pick up the frame. Behind the picture is a note in spidery ink. "Soon." Outside, the wind whispers through the pines. The forest's voice calling me back. I close my eyes, heart pounding. The well is covered, the Polaroid torn. But the message remains. Soon. And I know that whatever waits in the dark, it's coming for me. I step into the mud, and the world closes in around me. Trees arch over me like silent guardians, their branches heavy with mist. The beam of my flashlight cuts a trembling path through the darkness, illuminating droplets of moisture floating in the air. Every breath tastes of damp earth and pine. My boots sink into the soft ground with a dull thud. The patrol car's engine idles behind me, its headlights casting long, distorted shadows that disappear as soon as I turn around. My name is Reynolds, Officer Marcus Reynolds, Black Hollow County Sheriff's Department, and I've been on night patrol in these woods countless times. But I've never heard a distress call like this before. A whisper on the other end of the line, interrupted by static. "Please, I'm so scared. Help me." Then nothing but the soft howling of the wind in the pines. Headquarters located me via GPS, and I drove here alone because backup is 20 minutes away and the terrain swallows patrol cars like mine. I left the road at mile marker 12. The muddy track here is little more than tire tracks and rotten wooden planks that were laid years ago to prevent vehicles from sinking into the mire. Now, half of them have collapsed. Every step forward is a gamble. Will the plank hold, or will I sink chest deep into the mud? I grip the handle of my flashlight tighter. My other hand hovers over the Glock at my hip. I see it in front of me. The vehicle. A dark sedan with a dented hood and fogged-up windows. The driver's door is open, like an invitation or a warning. I approach with slow, deliberate steps, every muscle tense. The beam of light falls on a backpack lying on the ground, its straps spread out. Next to it is a single rubber boot, half sunk in the mud. There are no footprints except mine. I clear my throat. "Ma'am, sir, this is the sheriff's office. Are you here?" My voice sounds loud in the silence, as if I were shouting in a tomb. Nothing answers except the distant cry of an owl. I sneak around the back of the car. The trunk is open. I shine my flashlight inside, empty. No sign of luggage, no blood, no scraps of clothing except for the backpack. My radio crackles once, static, and falls silent. I tap on it. Dead. Great. Then I hear it, a soft rustling, as if fabric were brushing against leaves, behind me. I turn around, the flashlight piercing the darkness. Nothing, just trees. But my heart is pounding. I force myself to breathe slowly. A voice crackles in my ear, not through the radio but through the microphone in my helmet. "Officer Reynolds, are you there?" Headquarters. I'm relieved. "Yes," I whisper. "I found the car. No one inside. I'm checking the area." "Understood. Attention. According to GPS, you are still on Forest Road 12. Reinforcements will arrive in 10 minutes. 10 minutes could just as easily be 10 hours. I step back to the open door and shine my flashlight inside. The seats are damp, but otherwise empty. A cell phone lies on the floor with the screen facing down. I pick it up with my gloved hand. The display reads, "No service." I turn it over, smeared letters on a broken case. The name of a little girl, Abigail, scratched into the plastic. My stomach clenches. "Dispatch, I have a cell phone registered to Abigail. Can you locate it?" Static. Then, more sharply, "Negative, no signal." I put the cell phone in my pocket. At least we have a name. I step back, then I see them. Footprints. Barefoot, small. Once around the car, twice, then they disappear into the undergrowth to the east. I kneel down, the flashlight close to my feet, toes spread in the mud, heels dragging, not adult size. A child. My radio crackles again. "Unit 425, do you read me?" "Loud and clear," I say in a tense voice. "I'm following the footprints. They lead into the forest." "Be careful," warns headquarters. "The readings show a sudden drop in temperature, possibly a cave or a hollow in front of you." A cave? A hollow? My breath forms a little clouds in the beam of light. I stand up and shine my flashlight on the spot where the tracks disappear under a tangle of roots and ferns. I step inside. The mud gives way, revealing thick, springy pine needles. The air gets colder, so cold that it burns in my lungs. My flashlight flickers. I tap it. It stays on, for now. Every few meters I hear something. A crack. A soft sigh of the wind that almost sounds like a voice. I admonish myself. Stay professional. Clear eyes, clear head. I look at my watch. 2:38 a.m. 10 more minutes until backup arrives. I am alone in the darkness, following the echo of children's footsteps and a whisper that may never have been there. Then the beam of light falls on something white on a tree trunk. I move closer. An old cigarette butt, half smoked, stuck in the bark. Unusual. Someone was sitting here recently. Someone tall enough to smoke, but small enough to run away barefoot. I lean forward, my heart pounding. The butt is still warm. Too warm. I radio headquarters. Headquarters, I have new evidence. Smoking paraphernalia, fingerprints. Someone was here a few moments ago. No answer. I put the cigarette butt in my pocket. All my instincts tell me to turn back and wait for daylight. But I'm a cop. I go where the emergency call takes me. In front of me, the trees open up into a small clearing. Moonlight shines through tattered clouds. In the middle stands an abandoned picnic table, half collapsed. On it lies a single object. A child's shoe, bright pink, splattered with mud. I step forward, and the beam of light reflects something else. A red stain on the wood, but as I get closer, it's just rust. My pulse slows, but only slightly. A whisper floats across the clearing. "Help me." I freeze. It's the same voice. A woman? A child? Broken with fear. "Abigail?" I call softly. Silence. Then, footsteps. Someone running away. Something darts past the trees at the edge of the clearing. My heart pounding, I approach the spot. I raise my voice. "Stop! Police!" No answer. The beam of light catches a movement. Something white, a piece of cloth. And then it's gone. My radio crackles. "Reynolds, are you still there?" I rub my forehead. "Yes. I see movement. I'm following it. Backup will be there in 2 minutes. I recommend you hold your position." I glance back at the patrol car's headlights, shining faintly through the tree trunks. 2 minutes. I could catch up with whoever, or whatever, ran away, or I could wait. My hand wanders to my holster. Then I hear it behind me. A soft sob. I turn around. At the edge of the clearing stands a little girl, pale and wide-eyed. She is soaked, her clothes covered in mud. She stares at me, trembling. Relief washes over me. "Abigail, it's okay, I'm here. I'm Officer Reynolds. Are you hurt?" She doesn't say anything, just stares at me. Then she tilts her head and points deeper into the forest. I take a step forward. "Let's get out of here." She puts a finger to her lips. "Shh." Then she whispers, this time clearly, "He's watching us." My heart skips a beat. I look at my watch, 2:41 a.m. Backup is a minute away, but out here, deep in the woods of Black Hollow, time passes differently. I shine my flashlight on her. Her eyes flash. Too old, too knowing. She steps back and disappears between the trees as if she had never been there. I stumble forward and call her name. Nothing but the silence of the branches. My radio explodes. "Unit 425, officer down, repeat, officer down." My blood freezes. I run forward. No answer. The clearing is empty. The beam of my flashlight falls on the picnic table where the sneaker lay. Now it's gone. The rust stain looks fresh, as if something had been dragged across the wood. I sink to my knees, my heart pounding. 2 things lie in the mud: the pink water bottle and my badge, face down, broken. I pick it up. Behind me, the forest sighs. I should call for backup. Instead, I whisper into the radio, "Get me out of here," and the forest responds with a breath that sounds like laughter. I get out of the patrol car and step into the mud, and the world closes in around me. The trees arching over me like silent guardians, their branches heavy with fog. The beam of my flashlight trembles as I run it over the rutted track. Deep tire tracks half filled with black water, rotten boards from an old wooden road, and tangled undergrowth that reaches out for me like grasping fingers. Every breath tastes of damp earth and pine resin. The mud sticks to my boots with every step, reminding me that every step forward is a decision. It's 2 a.m., and I'm Officer Marcus Reynolds from the Black Hollow County Sheriff's Office. Tonight, I received an emergency call that was so quiet it sounded like a prayer swallowed by the wind. "Please, help, I'm so scared." Then, nothing but static. Dispatch located me here on Forest Road 12, but GPS is useless when the forest is this thick. Backup is at least 15 minutes away, and this muddy road swallows patrol cars faster than a grizzly eats salmon. So, I'm all alone with whatever triggered that call. I left the patrol car's headlights on high beam until the last moment, bright enough to pierce the fog 50 feet in front of me, but not so bright that I couldn't see movement at the edges. Now, the engine is idling behind me, its glow a distant beacon I can retreat to, if I want to. I step back, and the headlights grow smaller, until they are just 2 points of light between the trees. My hand clenches the handle of my flashlight, the other hovering near the Glock at my hip. Protocol dictates that I announce myself. I clear my throat and call out into the darkness. Black Hollow County Sheriff's Department. If anyone is here, answer. Silence is the only response, just the sighing of the wind in the pines, and the soft dripping of water from a low branch. I walk to the spot where the caller's cell phone was last located according to the dispatch center. A shallow depression in the ground, 20 meters from the road. The beam of my flashlight falls on moss-covered rocks and fallen branches. The mud here gives way to pine needles. I swallow hard. The cold air burns my lungs. Then I see it, the half-buried side mirror of a dark sedan. I crouch down and shine my light into the open door. Empty. No personal belongings, no blood, no signs of a struggle. Just a cell phone on the dashboard, the screen broken, the display showing no service. I pick it up with a gloved finger. Someone has carved a name into the back. Abigail. My pulse races. Central, I found a vehicle, unoccupied, a cell phone with the name Abigail on it. There's static. Roger, Unit 425. Reinforcements will be there in 10 minutes. Be careful. 10 minutes. That's 600 seconds to hunt a ghost. I put the cell phone in my pocket. At my feet, I see footprints in the mud, small, bare, from an adolescent foot. They circle the sedan twice and then disappear toward the east. I kneel down and hold the flashlight close to the tracks. The toes are spread apart, the heel dragged behind. A child. My radio crackles. Unit 425, are you there? Loud and clear, I'm following the tracks into the forest. Attention, the temperature is dropping. Stay alert. I stand up and leave the well-worn trail to enter the dense pine forest. The mud gives way to pine needles. The air grows colder, so cold that it burns my lungs. My flashlight flickers. I knock against the side. It stays put. For now. Every few steps I hear it, a crack, a soft exhalation that could come from the wind, or from a human being. I force myself to breathe quietly. After 40 meters, I cross a collapsed footbridge over a trickle of water. The boards are broken and rotten. I feel my way forward cautiously, my heart pounding. On the other side of the stream lies a pink, mud-splattered sneaker, no second soul in sight. I get down on my knees and pick it up. A mother's worst nightmare in a single object. A whisper drifts through the trees. Help! I freeze. The voice belongs to a girl, small, frightened. I call out, Abigail. I'm here. Stay where you are. Silence, then distant footsteps. Someone is running. I aim the beam at a movement at the edge of my field of vision. A white cloth, then everything is dark again. My radio crackles. Unit 425, what's your situation? I swallow, pursuing a possible suspect. The footprints continue. Back up in 2 minutes. Stay where you are. I look back. The headlights of the patrol car shimmer through the tree trunks. 2 minutes, I could wait and survive to tell the tale. Or I could give chase and maybe not come back. I take a step forward. The forest opens up into a clearing. Moonlight filters through tattered clouds and illuminates a lonely, half-collapsed picnic table. On its surface lies a single object, a child's water bottle with a muddy pink cap. Next to it, a red stain on the weathered wood. Blood? Rust? My breath catches. I lean forward. Rust. An old stain. Still, it pulls at my stomach. Then the whisper, clear as a breath. "Officer Reynolds." I turn around. Nothing but trees. My heart is pounding. Suddenly, the beam of light catches a figure at the edge of the clearing. A little girl, soaked, covered in mud, frozen. Her eyes reflect the light, too old, too knowing. She puts a finger to her lips. Shh. My radio crackles. Officer down. Officer down on Forest Road 12. Instinctively, fear overwhelms me. I run, but she's gone. The clearing is empty. Only the bottle and the rust stain remain on the picnic table. My boots sink into the mud. Two things lie on the ground. The pink sneaker and my badge, face down, broken. I pick up both items. Behind me, the forest sighs. I should call for backup. Instead, I whisper into my microphone, "Get me out of here." And the forest responds with a breath that sounds like laughter. The patrol car's engine roars to life under my hands, an angry, stuttering sound that seems much too loud in the silence. I shift into gear and race away from the clearing, the tires spinning in the mud. Behind me, the trees stand like silent witnesses, and for a moment I could swear I see movement out of the corner of my eye, the silhouette of the little girl, framed by the moonlight between two tree trunks watching me. Then she disappears into the shadows. I don't stop until the rutted track spits me back onto Forest Road 12. The headlights cut through the darkness, revealing the smooth asphalt road. I press the siren several times in quick succession to alert the deputies who must be close by. The radio crackles. "Unit 425, we have you in sight. You have a clear path to the intersection." I turn off the siren and roll to a stop under a lone streetlight, casting a pale yellow light. My heart is pounding so hard I can feel it in my throat. I lean out the window and shout, "Reynolds here, suspect at large, possibly a minor, last seen east of the clearing. Send an ambulance and a dog." Dispatch acknowledges the call. 10 seconds later, blue and red lights dance on the wet tree trunks as two patrol cars pull up. I jump out, mud splattering from my boots, and wave to them. Deputy Carter, his breath visible in the cold air, comes over. "Everything okay, boss?" The beam of his flashlight dances across my face. I swallow. "I found footprints, a sneaker, her water bottle, and my badge." I hold up the broken badge. Carter frowns. "The K9 unit is on its way," he says. "Let's get you out of the cold first." I get back into the patrol car and grab my radio. "Central. Unit 425 is secured. Send an ambulance for possible hypothermia. K9 ETA 3 minutes." The door of my patrol car opens, and the deputy presses a thermoscan to my face. "Your temperature is extremely high," he says. I laugh hollowly. "Adrenaline." He nods. "Need a minute? Coffee?" I glance back at the forest, where the headlights only reach a few meters before disappearing into the darkness. "Yes," I say. "Black coffee, please." He disappears. I sit there for a moment, my chest rising and falling, listening to the rain mixed with radio static. Carter returns with a steaming paper cup. I wrap both hands around it. The warmth penetrates my gloves. I take a sip, bitter and welcome. Behind me, the K9 unit arrives. The dog handlers get out, leashes in hand. The dog, a German shepherd named Roka, sniffs energetically at the tires of the patrol car before being led to the edge of the forest. Carter stands next to me. "Do you want to go first?" I nod and put down the cup. Every instinct tells me to go back, to find Abigail and whatever she was chasing. But the rules say the K9 unit should pick up the trail. I follow Carter and the handler to where the sneaker was lying. Roka's tail twitches. The handler kneels down and lets the dog sniff the sneaker. Roka's hackles rise. She assumes a pursuit stance and takes off toward the trees. Carter presses his radio. Unit 425, following K9. I set off, flashlight in one hand, service weapon in the other. The beam dances over ferns, low branches, and, now and then, a broken plank or a shallow mud grave where the earth has been washed away. We follow Roka 20 meters. The temperature drops immediately. My breath forms mist in front of my face. The beam of light falls on something unnatural. A child's doll, half buried, one glass eye missing. I swallow. The dog handler leads Roka around the object. She sniffs and moves on. We venture deeper. The canopy of leaves swallows the moon. The only light comes from our flashlights and Roka's tracking light attached to her collar. The mud gives way to needles and leaves. The smell of decay is stronger here, and there is a faint smell of old blood. My radio crackles. Unit 425. Deputy Larson reports finding footprints leading to a shallow depression, possibly a cave. Roger, I reply. We're on our way. We hurry. The dog handler lifts Roka over a fallen tree trunk, and the dog drops to the forest floor with her head down. Carter's flashlight finds the depression, a sunken hollow in the ground surrounded by roots. The mud inside is churned up. Bare footprints, fingerprints where someone has scratched the earth, and in the middle, a small handprint pressed into the soft ground. I crouch down next to it, my heart pounding in my throat. The handprint is too small for my gloves, no bigger than the palm of a toddler's hand. I run a gloved fingertip over it. The earth feels colder than ice. The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. Suddenly, Roka stiffens and lets out a low growl. Her light dances toward the darkest spot in the hollow, where the roots form a kind of arch. I shine my flashlight there. For a moment, I see movement, something pale and hunched, just barely visible. Then it's gone. Back, I whisper to Carter. He does, his eyes wide open. The dog handler tries to call Roka away. She growls and lunges toward the arch. I cling to her harness. Calm down, girl, calm down. The dog's barking echoes through the hollow. I force myself to breathe slowly. What's going on, girl? I ask. Roka stretches forward, the hair on her neck bristling. The air shimmers beneath the arch, like a heat wave, but cold. The tree roots twist into a jagged frame, and within that frame the darkness seems deeper, as if leading into a tunnel. A faint glow pulsates within it, soft, bluish. Central, I say into my radio. Can you hear me? Only static. I glance at Carter. We have to check this out. He hesitates. Reynolds, the protocol, backup is 5 minutes away. I interrupt him. I'm going. I drop into the hollow, Roka at my side. The air is so cold it burns my lungs. The glow intensifies, a faint, pulsating light like a lantern swaying in the wind. But there is no lantern, only roots and earth. Roka's low growl vibrates through the ground. I swing the beam around. The roots form a tunnel about 2 meters high that slopes down at a gentle angle. Strange symbols are carved into the wood, circles and lines, childish scratches, then deeper notches. I crouch down and run my finger over one of them. The wood is warm here and pulsing under my glove. My heart is pounding. What the hell? I mutter. I raise my radio. Headquarters. I'm in a hollow with a root tunnel. Strange carvings, light source unknown, proceed with caution. Still silence. I stand up and shine my flashlight down the tunnel. The glow pulsates again, drawing me in. The smell changes from decay to something slightly sweet, like wildflowers. The temperature drops further. Ice crystals form on the roots. My breath clouds the air. Roka whines and backs away slightly. I pat her shoulder. I'll take care of it, girl. I step inside. The ground slopes beneath my feet. The tunnel walls move closer until I touch roots on both sides. The glow comes from ahead, a circle of pale luminescence floating perhaps 3 meters in front of me. It pulsates in time with my heartbeat. My pulse races. Every instinct screams at me to back away, but Abigail's voice echoes in my head. Help me! I call out in a trembling voice, Abigail, are you here? Show yourself! Silence, then the glow flickers, blindingly bright. I raise my hand to shield my eyes. When I lower it again, the tunnel is empty. No light, no carvings, just roots and earth. The air suddenly becomes warm, and I stumble back into the cave. Roka presses himself against my leg, his tail between his legs. Carter rushes over. Are you okay? You went in there, then the light disappeared. I shake my head. Something's not right. That wasn't natural. He shines his lamp on the carvings. They look fresh. I kneel down and examine them. Some of the scratches are old and weathered, but the deeper gouges glow faintly, as if the wood itself were pulsating. My skin tingles. The trees rustle above us, even though there is no wind. A low hum vibrates through the earth. Roka growls at the tunnel entrance. I stand up. We need to mark this. Get back up to cordon off the area. Carter nods and takes photos. I radio again, static. I raise my voice. Headquarters. This is Unit 425, urgent. I have a possible underground structure at 12 Forest Road. Request immediate dispatch of a technical team and K-9 backup. Over. Still nothing but static. A cold shiver runs down my spine. I glance at Carter. Do you hear that? He presses his radio. Unit 425, come in. Finally. Relief washes over me. Get all available units and send a chaplain or psychologist. He nods. On my way. I turn back to the hollow. The roots arch like a mouth. The carved symbols seem to shift in the beam of the flashlight. I feel like I'm being watched by eyes behind the bark. A soft giggle, childlike, echoes from the tunnel. I freeze. Abigail? No answer. Just that soft, distant laughter, as if carried by the breath of the earth. I glance at Carter. Let's stick together. He moves closer. We pull ourselves out of the hollow. Roka remains alert, his nose to the ground. The forest breathes around us. The picnic table in the clearing lie still, as if nothing had happened. The deputy sheriffs arrive. Flashlights shine, radios chatter. We inform them. They cordon off the hollow with yellow tape. A sergeant orders everyone to return to the road. I remain standing, staring at the tunnel entrance. Behind the tape, the carvings still glow faintly. The light in the tunnel pulses once, twice, and goes out. My radio crackles in my ear. Unit 425, status? I reply in a tense voice, secure. But we've found something unnatural. He replies curtly, stay with your unit. Command will question you. I close my eyes. The forest falls silent. The mud on my boots seems to swirl as if it were alive. I bend down and pick up the pink sneaker, which is now just a sneaker, and the water bottle, which is still half full of muddy water. I put them in evidence bags. As I stand up, I see movement at the edge of the clearing. A white flash, a silhouette against the trees. My heart stops. I raise my flashlight, but the figure is gone. There are no footprints leading away. I kneel in the mud and run my fingers over the spot where the footprints end. Only earth, untouched. A whisper floats through the clearing. Find me. I'm shaking. The temperature is dropping rapidly. My breath forms mist. I glance at the tunnel entrance. The yellow barrier tape is fluttering, even though there is no wind. The forest behind it is eerily dark. I radio Carter. Don't let anyone near the tunnel. He nods, even though he can't see me. I step back. The light on the roof of my patrol car now seems eerily bright. I get in, my heart still racing. As I close the door, the whisper follows me. Find me. Then silence. We leave Forest Road 12. The trees swallow the headlights until they are just two glowing eyes in the night. In the rearview mirror, I think I see a little girl standing at the edge of the clearing, her finger on her lips. But when I blink, she's gone. And I ask myself, was she really there? The road back to Black Hollow seems endless. The patrol car's heater is fighting the cold, but my hands are still shaking on the steering wheel. Behind me, Deputy Carter reports the situation over the radio. The K-9 unit and the crime scene technicians are in the hollow. I nod, even though he can't see me. I replay the whisper in my head. Find me. Abigail's voice, or something that sounds like her voice. A child lost in these woods, or a decoy. We turn at the intersection of County Road 12 and Route 62. Patrol cars are parked under the sodium glow of a lone streetlight. Carter jumps out and approaches me with a frown. "The sergeant wants to see you," he says. I get out, my boots heavy with mud. The sergeant, a gray-haired veteran with 30 years on the force named Lewis, stands in the light with his arms crossed. His breath forms little clouds in the air. He doesn't smile. "Reynolds," he says, "I hear you've had an adventure." His gaze falls on my mud-splattered patrol car, then on the evidence bags Carter is carrying. I nod. We found footprints, a sneaker, a bottle, and strange carvings in a root hollow. A teenager may be involved. He grunts. "We've got tech on the scene. Are you sure this isn't just some prank by a bunch of stupid kids?" I look back at the dark silhouettes in the woods. Those carvings. I hold up my gloved hand, which is shaking slightly. They were fresh. The tunnel. Something was glowing inside. The air was freezing cold. Lewis's jaw tightens. "We'll secure everything. Tonight we'll seal it off. Tomorrow the district engineers and foresters will examine everything. Are you done with your shift?" My watch says 3:15 a.m. My shift ends at 6. I can stay until they clear the scene. He looks me over. Finally, "All right, but get some rest afterwards. Get your thoughts in order." He turns around and gives an order over the radio. Carter stands next to me. "Everything okay?" I laugh forcedly. "Yeah, I just need coffee and daylight." We walk back to the clearing. Yellow barrier tape flutters at the entrance to the tunnel. Technicians in protective suits crouch and photograph symbols. Roka sniffs at the edge and whines softly. I crouch down next to the tunnel. The carved symbols still glow faintly in the spotlight. I touch one. It's cool and smooth. Fine wood dust sticks to my glove. I brush it into an evidence bag. A technician, Peterson, approaches us. "Sir, you might want to take a look at this." He holds up a tablet showing an infrared scan of the cave. A figure can be seen in the root tunnel, elongated, pale, just outside the visible range of light. I swallow. "Is that?" He nods. It's moving, heartbeat slow, irregular, not human. A chill runs down my spine. "We have a life sign?" Peterson hesitates. Something, faint, barely perceptible. I glance at Carter. "Should we call for paramedics?" The sergeant's voice crackles over Carter's radio. "Negative. Quarantine until morning. No one is to enter until we know what we're dealing with." I close my eyes. The figure pulsates on the screen. Elongated limbs, too long, too thin. A head tilted at an impossible angle. A small body, the distorted form of a child. "Sir," Peterson says quietly, "we should retreat." I nod. "Yes." I stand up, my heart pounding. The forest seems to lean, silent. At the patrol car, I call headquarters. "Unit 425, crime scene secured." Possible signs of life from a teenager in a cave. Recommend special team. No answer, just static. I radio again. Headquarters come in. A click, then a calm voice. Unit 425, I hear you. Headquarters has been informed. Stay in position. I turn off the radio. The silence that follows is heavier than the mud. Carter and I step back as technicians seal the tunnel with plastic sheeting and barrier tape. Roka sniffs at the barrier, then sits down with her head bowed. I pat her flank. We'll find you, little one. He glances at me. Are you talking to the dog? I force a smile. Maybe. We watch as the technicians load their equipment and retreat to their patrol cars. The clearing empties. The picnic table collapses. The hollow gapes, sealed but restless. I glance at my watch, 3:45 a.m., 2 hours until the end of my shift. I sit down on the tailgate of my patrol car, take off my helmet and rub my temples. The forest breathes around me. Somewhere in this darkness is a child, or something that has the shape of a child, calling my name. Carter hands me another coffee. For the road? I nod and take a sip. Bitter warmth. Do you think we'll find her? He asks quietly. I stare at the sealed tunnel. I'm not sure, but we'll try. A gust of wind moves the trees. The yellow barrier tape rustles. For a heartbeat, the covered entrance glows from within. Once, twice, then nothing. I stand up. Let's get the paperwork done. As we walk away, I look back. A handprint appears on the plastic cover. Small, muddy, pressed from the inside. And I know that this is far from over. The yellow barrier tape flutters as I walk away, but I can't get the image of that tiny handprint pressed from the inside out of my head. My boots sink into the mud. Every step feels like I'm moving through molasses. Carter comes to a stop beside me and shines his flashlight on the plastic cover. The forest behind us is a void. No moonlight, no stars, just the rustling of pine needles in the wind that I can't feel. I pull out my phone and look at the clock. 4:05 a.m. 2 hours until the end of my shift, and I've already seen enough to keep me busy for a lifetime. But Abigail, whether she's real or not, is still out there, and something inside me refuses to leave until I know she's safe. Let's get some statements, Carter says, breaking the silence. He nods toward the technicians packing up evidence. I nod and follow him to Deputy Larson, who is filling out forms on the back of his patrol car. Roka sits dutifully at Larson's feet, head on his paws, following every movement with his eyes. Larson looks up as we approach. His face is pale in the glow of the interior lights. Sergeant Lewis wants your report, he says, handing me a form and a pen. I lean against Carter's patrol car and begin. Time, location, weather, description of the vehicle, footprints, tunnel, lights in the woods, handprint, signs of life. My hand is shaking. Carter clears his throat. Should I add the results of the infrared scan? I hesitate. The scan showed something non-human, something that was faintly alive, but revealing those details here could trigger protocols that I don't think we're ready for yet. I look at Carter. He returns my gaze. Yes, I say. Add it, everything we have. Larson looks at us with a frown. Are you sure? I nod. We can't keep this a secret. If there's something down there, people need to know. Larson scribbles a note. I finish my statement and hand him the paper. He tucks it into his folder. We'll pass it on, he says. I put the pen in my pocket. The forest closes in around us, silent and watchful. Somewhere, a cricket chirps, a lonely reminder that life goes on in the darkness. Carter and I step back to the tunnel. The plastic seal has been reinforced with tape. The barrier tape flutters like yellow warning teeth. I run a gloved finger over the handprint, now smeared, half blurred by dew. A shiver runs down my spine at the thought that something small and desperate tried to squeeze through here. We'll get engineers in the morning, I say. They'll see if this tunnel leads anywhere, to a cave, a root cellar, an old mine shaft. Carter nods, but his eyes betray him. What if it's something else? I swallow. Then we'll deal with it. He glances at Roka, who raises her head and whines softly. She doesn't like this. I crouch down and rub Roka's ears. Neither do I, girl. The forest seems to be exhaling. I shiver. The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. I look up. The canopy has shifted. The leaves are trembling even though there is no wind. A soft sigh floats across the clearing. A breath that does not come from me. Carter stiffens. Did you hear that? I nod, my heart pounding. Yes. We both point our flashlights at the edge of the forest. The beams of light fall on a group of ferns, and for a moment I think I see movement. Something pale gliding between the trunks. Then it's gone. My stomach tightens. Abigail! I call into the darkness. Silence. I stand up. We're done here. Let's get back. As we walk back to the patrol cars, my radio crackles. Unit 425. Please note, headquarters wants a full report at the station. Return as soon as possible. Roger, I reply. I climb into the driver's seat, mud splattering the floor. Carter slides into the passenger seat. Roka jumps into the back. The engine starts smoothly, too smoothly after stuttering earlier. I turn onto Forest Road 12. The yellow barrier tape and the sealed dumpster disappear into the darkness behind us. The drive back is quiet. I go over every detail again. The footprints, the abandoned car, the whispering, the glow, the tunnel, the handprint, the scan. The pieces don't quite fit together, like a puzzle whose image is constantly changing. At the station, we are met by Sergeant Lewis and the medical examiner, Dr. Harlan. They lead us into the briefing room, a bare, rectangular room lit by neon lights that make everything look even harsher. On one wall is a white board with notes. Vehicle, sedan, no license plate. Phone, Abigail. Fingerprints, juvenile. Cavity, sealed. IR, vital signs, positive. Lewis points to the board. Explain that. I take a deep breath. At 2:17 a.m., a faint emergency call came in, a female child's voice. I found an abandoned sedan on Forest Road 12, a phone with Abigail written on it. Barefoot prints led into the woods. K9 picked up the trail to a clearing with a tunnel made of roots. In the tunnel, the infrared camera showed faint signs of life, not human. As we sealed off the tunnel, a small handprint pressed against the seal from the inside. Dr. Harlan's eyes narrow. Not human, I nod. Irregular heartbeat, too slow, distorted waveform. He frowns. Could be a device malfunction. I glance at Carter. He shakes his head. I saw it, he says. The dog reacted. The temperature in the tunnel dropped below freezing. Harlan takes notes. Lewis crosses his arms. What do you suggest? I hold his gaze. We need specialists, anthropologists, foresters, civil engineers, maybe even a paranormal team. We don't know what's down there, but it's alive, and it's not a normal child. Silence. The hum of the neon lights grows louder. Finally, Lewis nods briefly. I'll call in the state engineers first thing in the morning. Until then, the cave remains sealed. No one is to enter it. He looks at me. Get some rest, Reynolds, and stay away from the clearing. I swallow. Yes, Sergeant. We walk out. In the hallway, Carter pats me on the shoulder. Everything okay? I force a smile. It'll be fine. Tomorrow we'll find out what that thing is. He nods. Are you sure you want to go back? I look at the floor-to-ceiling windows that offer a view of the forest. The trees are black silhouettes against a cloudy sky. Something is moving between them, barely perceptible. I have to, I say. If it's a child, we owe it to her to save her. If it's something else, we owe it to ourselves to understand it. Carter exhales. All right, but we'll stick to the rules. I nod. By the book. I can't sleep that night. My phone vibrates continuously. Messages from headquarters, inquiries from concerned colleagues, an email from District Command asking for the latest information. I type a short summary and send it off. Then I open the photo of the handprint on the plastic seal. The edges are blurred, but the lines of the hand are clearly visible. Too clearly. I zoom in. The print seems to shift, the lines forming a symbol I can't decipher. My chest tightens. At 5:45 a.m., I get dressed again. Bulletproof vest over my uniform, boots tightly laced, flashlight and radio clipped to my belt. Carter meets me outside. The morning air is fresh. A thin fog hangs between the tree trunks. The technicians will be here in 10 minutes, he says. Then we'll coordinate the entry. Roka whines and presses herself against me. I kneel down and scratch her behind the ears. Are you ready, girl? She wags her tail once. I stand up and look back at the sealed cave. The plastic sheeting is intact, but the mud at the base is churned up, fresh traces, as if something had pushed against it from inside. The handprint is faint, but it's there. My breath forms little clouds. I check my radio. Headquarters, Unit 425. We're beginning the coordinated re-entry with the engineering team. Over. A calm voice replies, Understood. All units stand by. I step forward. Carter joins me. The engineers arrive with protective helmets, clipboards, and flashlights. They attach sensors to the plastic seal. One of them presses a button and data flashes up on a tablet screen. Air pressure, temperature, radiation. Everything is normal except for a local cold source at the tunnel entrance. The lead engineer, a woman named Ortiz, studies the data. Cold source at minus 10 degrees Celsius. No structural instability. We can open it carefully. I nod. I'll be right behind you. She cuts the tape with a knife. The plastic sheeting peels away with a soft rustle. The tunnel yawns black and silent. Cold air flows out like breath. Ortiz shines her lantern inside. The carvings on the root walls glisten with frost. The floor drops away into darkness. Ortiz waves. After you, Sheriff's Department. I straighten my shoulders, turn on my flashlight and step into the tunnel. The beam of light pierces the cold and illuminates the twisted roots and strange symbols. The air is so cold that it burns my lungs. Every breath is difficult. Carter and Ortiz follow me. Roka stays behind at the entrance, whimpering. I go deeper, my heart pounding. The tunnel walls seem to pulsate. I reach out to touch a root. Ice crystals shatter under my glove. A tremor runs through the wood, as if the root itself were alive. Ahead of us, the tunnel opens into a second chamber. A natural cave beneath the roots. The glow returns. A soft, bluish light emanating from the fungus growing on the walls, pulsing in rhythm with something. I direct the beam of light through the cave. In the middle lies a small figure, huddled on the floor. Pale, emaciated, head bowed. A little girl, Abigail. I step forward, my voice choked. Abigail? She looks up. Her eyes are black holes that reflect my light. She smiles, a slow, sad smile. Her lips move, but no sound comes out. Then she reaches out a hand, tiny, skeletal. My radio crackles. Unit 425. What's the situation? I whisper, stunned. She's real, but not alive. Abigail's chest rises once, twice, no heartbeat. The mushroom glow pulsates faster. The cave walls seem to breathe. Ortiz gasps for air. Carter steps back. Roca whimpers. Abigail stands up, her body swaying. She tilts her head and looks at me. Then she forms the words with her lips. Find me. A chill runs down my spine. Above us, the tunnel entrance collapses. Roots break like ribs and block our way out. I hold my flashlight high, my heart pounding in my throat. The cave is silent. Then Abigail laughs. And I realize that we brought the light. But we awakened something that should have remained buried. Cold air rushed up my back as the arch of roots collapsed with a splintering crack, sealing the tunnel entrance with a curtain of tangled wood and earth. The cold gust of wind died instantly, leaving a damp silence in the cave. My flashlight darted across the mushroom-covered walls, which pulsed with an eerie blue glow, illuminating the hollowed-out, root ribs above us. Carter breathed shallowly and gasped behind me, Ortiz's lantern trembling in her hand. Roca whimpered and pressed himself against the wall of debris. I swallowed hard. We're trapped, I said in a toneless voice. The words echoed like a sentence in the chamber. No radio signal, nothing but the hum of the living fungus and the dripping of invisible water. Ortiz set her lantern on a flat rock. We have to stay calm, she said. We'll find another way out. A soft rustling interrupted her. Something was moving on the opposite wall, a figure darker than the fungus, writhing and slithering. I shone my flashlight on it. The figure dissolved into more carvings, lines and circles that hadn't been there before, as if the wood itself remembered an ancient language and was now writing it in frost. Carter stepped closer. New carvings, he whispered. He ran a finger over them. They're moving. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. We don't belong here, I said. We have to go up. We have to dig our way back out or find an air shaft. Ortiz nodded and looked up. The ceiling of the cave was 20 feet above us, a tangle of roots disappearing into the darkness. No obvious exit. The floor sloped down to a shallow pool of water, its surface reflecting the glow. Around the edge were more footprints, tiny, bare, circling the pool as if in a ritual. Roca lunged at the footprints, barking. Her warm breath steamed in the cold air. She sniffed the mud and backed away, her fur bristling. I crouched down and shone my flashlight on the puddle. Something large lay curled up beneath the surface, pale, scaly, motionless. My heart was pounding. What the hell is that? Ortiz raised her lantern. Some kind of salamander, huge. She looked at Carter. Biologist? Do you know what that is? He shook his head. I've never seen anything like it. I stood up and put my gun away. We don't have time for biology. We have to find a way up. Help me push these rocks away. Together, Carter and I pushed the smaller stones at the edge of the pool aside. Ortiz bumped the handle of her lantern against a root protruding into the water. It sounded hollow. Beneath it was a narrow opening, just wide enough for one person if they held their breath. This could be it, Ortiz said. A second root shaft. I shone my flashlight into the hole. It was pitch black. I'll go first. My uniform got caught on wet roots. I wriggled down into the tunnel and felt my way forward. Cold water washed around my calves. Carter followed me. Ortiz waited to lower the lantern. The shaft creaked. Roots moved. The water rose to my waist. The beam of my flashlight danced across smooth walls. The tunnel rose at a steep angle. I kicked away the mud and climbed on, the water swirling around me. Carter's light flickered close behind me. After 10 frantic meters, we rushed into another chamber. Narrower, higher, with a vaulted ceiling of intertwined roots. Here came the glow of bioluminescent fungi covering the walls. The air was less cold, but heavy with spores. The tunnel behind us closed silently with a dull thud. I exhaled. "This is our way out," I said. "Keep going." We squeezed further into a corridor of roots that wound like the inside of a giant creature. The beam of light revealed more carvings, this time deeper, as if they had been scratched with nails. Carter ran his finger over them. "It says, 'Lost.'" A gust of wind swept through the corridor, even though there was no opening in sight, carrying with it a faint sob. I froze. "Abigail?" I whispered. No answer, only the echo of dripping water. We followed the passage until it led upward and opened onto a steep, muddy bank. I climbed up, my boots slipping, and Carter pulled me up. We reached a narrow crevice that led back to the forest floor. Moonlight streamed in. I squinted in confusion, but this was the opposite side of the clearing, half buried under roots. I stepped out, Carter behind me. The forest lay silent, silver in the moonlight. The picnic table was empty, the locked tunnel entrance nowhere to be seen. The ground beneath our feet was firm, untouched. Only the rustling of the wind in the leaves could be heard. Carter exhaled. "We made it." I nodded, my voice empty. "Let's find Ortiz and get Abigail, if she's here." We walked back across the clearing, shining our flashlights on the spot where the picnic table had been. But Ortiz was gone. No lantern, no footprints, just a shallow depression in the ground. "Ortiz!" I called. My voice broke. Only the sighing of the wind. I looked at my watch. 4:35 a.m. 15 minutes since we'd entered the shaft. I ran back to where the blocked entrance had been, nothing but untouched mud and ferns. It was as if the tunnel had never existed. The yellow barrier tape lay untouched in a neat roll at the edge of the clearing. My heart was pounding. "Carter, she's gone." He searched the forest. She must have come out here. I don't know why I trusted her. I followed the flickering light of her lantern deeper into the forest. Carter stayed behind in the clearing. The forest closed in around me. The beam of light fell on low branches, broken boards, footprints. My footprints, Carter's, the small imprints, but none from Ortiz. I called her name. My voice sounded desperate, strange. Then, just outside the circle of light, I heard a soft humming. Childlike, tuneless. I moved toward it. Branches scratched my face. The humming grew louder and echoed. I pushed my way through the thicket. There, in a grove of young pine trees, stood Ortiz. She stood with her back to me, motionless, humming. Her lantern lay on the ground, flickering. I called out, "Ortiz!" She turned slowly. Her eyes were wide open, not blinking, and completely black. Her lips formed a calm smile. "You found her," she said in a hollow voice, but in Abigail's tone of voice. I felt sick. "Where is Abigail? Are you okay?" She nodded. "She's with me now." I stepped closer. "Doctor, Harlan, Ortiz, we're not safe here. We have to get back." She shook her head. "You can't leave, not until she's ready." The beam of my flashlight flickered as I raised it higher. The forest behind her darkened, and figures moved at the edges. Pale silhouettes of children standing just out of sight. They pushed forward, silently. I felt Roka barking behind me. I spun around. She was standing at the edge of the clearing, her fur bristling, the hairs on her neck standing on end. Carter ran over, his gun drawn. "Reynolds, get back!" I tore my gaze away from Ortiz. When I looked back, she was gone. Only the buzzing sound could still be heard. The outlines of the children dissolved into the trees. I sprinted back to Carter. "She's possessed, or replaced," I gasped. He grabbed my arm. "Forget Ortiz, we have to get out of here." I nodded. We ran to the patrol car. The engine started on the first try. Carter put the car in gear. As we drove away, I looked in the rearview mirror. Ortiz was standing at the edge of the clearing, half hidden in the shadows, her head bowed, a black-eyed smile on her lips. Behind her, the silhouettes of the children disappeared into the fog. I swallowed. Drive. The tires of the patrol car hissed on the muddy track. The forest flashed by in swirling rays of light. We didn't stop until the lights of the police station came into view. Inside, Sergeant Lewis greeted us with an alarmed expression. "Where's Ortiz? Where's Carter?" I got out and said in a hoarse voice, "She didn't come back." Lewis's jaw dropped. What the hell happened out there? I glanced at Carter. He was pale and wide-eyed. I turned back to Lewis. Something took her, and I don't think it was human. Lewis barked orders. The deputies swarmed out. Ortiz was called in on the radio. Carter and I gave a second statement for the record. No one believed us about the black eyes, the humming lullaby, the figures in the trees. There was no evidence. The tunnel had collapsed. Ortiz was gone, the clearing wiped out. At sunrise, the forest looked peaceful. Dew on the ferns, birds chirping. The tunnel entrance had vanished. The arch of roots had closed naturally, with no signs of damage. Only the churned-up mud where we had climbed out remained. The search for Ortiz was suspended until engineers could search the area in daylight. Carter and I returned to the station shaken, unsure what to report. The official version, missing person in dense forest. No mention of mushrooms, lights, or obsession. Back in my office, I opened the evidence bag, the pink sneaker, the water bottle, the broken cell phone with the name Abigail. Inside the phone was a photo, a blurry image of a little girl standing in that root cave, her eyes black as oil, her mouth twisted into a sad smile. I showed it to Carter. He swallowed. "That's not real," he whispered. I turned away. I no longer knew what was real. That afternoon I sat at home, exhausted. The cell phone lay on my kitchen counter. I fiddled with it. The broken screen flickered, even though the battery was dead. A call, no caller ID. I stared at it. Then the phone rang. A child's voice, far away. "Officer Reynolds, find me." I dropped the phone. It clattered on the floor and continued to ring. I backed away. The light in the kitchen dimmed. The whispering returned. From the phone, from the walls, from the darkness behind my windows. Find me. And I knew that the forest had followed me home. I turn off the light on the porch, and the hallway behind me is plunged into darkness. All the shadows are long and motionless. Too motionless. The cell phone lies on the floor, its screen pulsing in the corner of my eye as it rings on its own. I don't move. The whisper comes from the speaker. Find me. My breath pounds in my chest. I force myself forward, my boots silent on the hardwood. The light from the phone casts the silhouette of a little girl at the edge of the circle of light. Abigail's figure, black eyes, sad smile. She stands in the hallway, her finger on her lips. Behind her, the darkness of the forest presses against the windows, branches knocking like skeletal fingers. I swallow. "Abigail?" She tilts her head. "You came back." My hand trembles as I pick up the phone. The ringing stops. The line is free. Only heavy breathing and that soft, childlike giggle can be heard. Then a click and silence. I walk toward her. Each of my steps echoes in the empty house. She backs away, gliding rather than walking. I follow her. The front door is open, even though I didn't open it. Moonlight and fog swirl across the threshold. The forest waits. She turns around and points to something. This way. I hesitate only a moment before stepping outside. The night air is colder than in winter. The fog clings to my skin. The light on the porch flickers and goes out. Behind me, the house goes dark. I don't look back. The trees arch over us, their branches intertwined like the ribs of a cathedral. The muddy path from Forest Road 12 is exactly where I remember it, even though my house is miles away. The headlights of my patrol car, parked at the end of my driveway, illuminate a path into the forest. Carter's truck is next to it, empty with the engine running. The engine hums, but there's no deputy inside. Abigail waits at the edge of the forest, small and motionless. I step forward. The mud sticks to my boots. The whisper follows. Find me. I walk past the crumpled yellow barrier tape caught in the undergrowth. There is no sign of the sealed tunnel. It has disappeared as if it never existed. Only the ruts, the broken boards, the footprints. Mine, Carter's, the small bare footprints leading into the forest. I follow the tracks. They lead deeper into the forest, past the collapsed footbridge, past the moss-covered rocks. The glow returns, pale blue, pulsing between the trunks. The mushroom-like light bathes the tree trunks in ghostly colors. My heart is pounding. In front of me stands the root arch, identical to the one we had sealed, but intact, grown naturally from the earth. The carvings pulsate with frost, circles and lines that shift when I look away. A whisper comes from inside. Find me. I step through the arch. The air cools by 50 degrees. My boots echo on the smooth roots. Abigail stands inside, her hand outstretched. Behind her, the cave walls pulsate with living light. The salamander writhes in the pond, its eyes reflecting the light from my flashlight. The mushroom glow reveals dozens of figures crouching at the edge of the chamber. Children, pale and hollow-eyed, watching us. Abigail turns and walks deeper into the tunnel. The other figures follow her and glide into the root corridor. The carvings crawl along the walls as if the roots themselves were breathing. My radio crackles in my pocket, static, then Carter's voice. "Reynolds, are you okay?" I drop the radio. I'm inside." "Don't come in," he says, panic in his voice. But I can't stop. I follow Abigail into the deeper chamber, where the glow pulsates like a heartbeat. I step onto the edge of the pool. The salamander's head turns and watches me with unmoving eyes. The surface of the water ripples, even though there is no wind. Abigail stands barefoot in the middle of the pool. Her reflection is distorted. Black where she is pale, her eyes a melting darkness. She smiles and kneels down, touching the water. The waves spread out and come toward me. Roots twist above me. The whispering grows louder. Find me, find me. I step closer. The water splashes against my boots. The salamanders glide away and wrap themselves around Abigail's ankles. She laughs, a sound like breaking glass. The other children step out of the shadows, silent, and circle us. My stomach clenches. I know what I have to do. I kneel down and place the phone on a rock at the edge of the pond. The screen comes to life and projects my face into the cave. My frightened eyes, my mud-covered uniform. The children stare at the flickering image. Abigail reaches out and touches the phone. The reflection shatters. A shock wave ripples through the cave. The mushroom-like glow grows stronger and then fades. The salamanders wriggle and dissolve into mist. The outlines of the children blur. The roots tremble. I stand up and shout, "Abigail, come home!" The cell phone speaker crackles. Then a child's voice can be heard, clear and frightened. "Help!" Abigail's figure flickers. She looks at me. Recognition, fear. She lunges forward and clings to my leg. I lift her up. Her body is ice-cold, weightless. The other figures howl, an agonizing chorus. The roots tremble and split. Behind us, a tunnel of pale light opens up, a way out. I run toward the glow with Abigail in my arms. The children's screams fade as we pass the pond, the passageway, and the archway. The light grows warmer, golden. We rush out of the shoe, root mouth into the misty forest. Carter's headlights shine brightly. He jumps out, his eyes wild. I put Abigail down on the ground. She stands there, small and real again, her eyes shining and her cheeks red. She looks up at me, breathing shakily. "Thank you," she whispers. Then she runs off and disappears between the trees. Carter rushes over to me. "You crazy bastard, what the hell happened?" I swallow, mud dripping from my boots. She was trapped. With them. I point back to the forest. The bough is gone. Only tree trunks and fog remain. The fog clears, revealing the old gravel road, empty and silent. Carter stares. "Can we find her?" I shake my head. No footprints. He looks at the spot where Abigail disappeared. Then, let's hope for the best. We get into our patrol cars. The forest breathes behind us. As I drive off, the clock on the dashboard reads 4:44 a.m. The fog swirls in my headlights. In the rearview mirror, I see a small figure standing at the edge of the forest, watching, waiting. Then she raises a hand and waves. I blink, and she's gone. The call log on the phone shows an entry at 2:17 a.m. 911, missing child in the woods, connection lost. Then a second call at 4:42 a.m., duration 00, no audio recording saved. I turn off the phone. Under the broken screen, engraved into the plastic casing, is a new word: found. I put it in my pocket. Forest Road. 12 stretches out behind us, silent once more. The children's laughter echoes softly in the wind, and I know that some doors, once opened, never really close. The mud sucked at my boots as I stepped off the patrol rig, radio crackling in my palm. It was 2:17 a.m. on October 12th, and Forest Road 12 in Black Hollow County looked like a black void edged with gnarled tree limbs. The call had been faint. A child's voice whispering, "Help me," so low I almost wrote it off as static. But the GPS ping put it 20 meters off the road, deep in the pines. The beam from my mag light quivered against the trunks, illuminating slick bark and tangles of undergrowth. Every breath I took fogged the air. My heart thumped loud enough to drown out the radio static. I clicked the flashlight against my vest, the metal-on-metal echo sharp in the hush. The forest was so quiet I could hear my pulse. I moved toward a half-collapsed bridge I'd passed on the cruiser's headlights. Wooden planks splintered, beams sagging into the creek. The beam caught on something white on the far bank. A jacket, soaked and stiff. I crouched, mud oozing through my pant leg, and picked it up. No tags, no blood, just the damp stink of mildew. I radioed in. "Dispatch, I've got an abandoned jacket at the bridge." No sign of victim or suspect. Static answered me. I slipped the jacket into an evidence bag and stood. The tapping started then, soft, deliberate, like nails rapping on wood. My flashlight swung toward the sound. Nothing but rotting timbers. I swallowed. "Hello?" My voice cracked. No response. The tap, tap, tap stopped. I edged onto the broken bridge. Boards groaned under my weight. Below, water gurgled over stones. On the far side, small footprints pressed into mud. Bare toes splayed. They led into the darkness. I clicked on my body cam mic. Possible juvenile prints barefoot, heading northbound. I followed. Every step sank me deeper into wet leaves. My beam caught on mushrooms clustered like pale lanterns at the base of oaks, on shards of fallen bark that looked like broken bones. I reached a clearing where an old swing set stood, chains creaking through wind stirred nowhere. One swing held a single sneaker, laces untied. I crouched, heart hammering. On the seat, someone had scratched, "Don't trust him." A dry breeze whispered through the clearing, carrying a voice so soft I thought it in my head. Don't trust him. I snapped a photo. My radio sputtered. Reynolds, you copy? Relief. Copy, I'm at the clearing. Graffiti reads, don't trust him. Found a sneaker. Backup en route. ETA 3 minutes. I holstered the mic and pressed forward. The deer trail narrowed. Shadows coalesced beyond the flashlight cone. My breath fogged. I thought I glimpsed a small figure dart between trunks. Then nothing. The prints ended at an ancient oak draped in moss. Beneath it lay a rusted music box, lid open, playing off keynotes. The lamplit tune warped in the night air. Engraved on the box, Mary Ellis, 1986 to 1994. Beneath, someone carved, she lied. My stomach knotted. I radioed, music box on gravesite. Juvenile grave. Someone's been here. No answer. Static. A snap overhead. I swung the light. A man in a dark hoodie perched on a low branch, face hidden. He dropped silently into the leaves and vanished. My hand went to my sidearm. Dispatch, suspect on scene. Hoodie, I'm in pursuit. My boots churned mud as I ran. Branches clawed at my jacket. The music box tune trailed behind me like a curse. The hoodie man melted into the night. I called out, voice echoing. Only the forest answered. Then headlights, backup, shouts. We fanned out, flashlights stabbing the black. We found the music box at the oak. No girl, no suspect. Only the hollow melody and the sense that the woods were watching, waiting. I filed the preliminary report at 6:42 a.m. The missing child was never located. The hoodie man left no trace. And as I drove away, the trees seemed to lean closer, limbs like skeletal hands bidding me return. I'm back in the trees before dawn, the forest black around me except for the twin beams of the 2 backup cruisers parked at the clearing's edge. Their engines idled, low rumble vibrating through the mud. Deputies Harris and Chen step out, flashlights cutting arcs through the gloom. I lower my mag light but keep my pistol drawn. Hoodie guy's prints? Harris asks, voice tight. I kneel by the moss-ridden oak where the music box lay. Barefoot girl's prints stop here. Adult boots head east. I chased him toward that ridge. I point down a slope where darkness densest. Chen sweeps the beam. Nothing but trees. I stand. He's close, felt it. My chest thumps. The air tastes metallic. We fan out. I move east, crouched, every sense flaring. The forest floor is littered with broken twigs and pine duff. I step over a fallen log and catch a flicker. A pale shape darting beyond my beam. I whirl. Nothing. Over here, Harris's whisper. I jog to him. He kneels by disturbed earth. Shallow footprints pressed into mud. Adult and child side by side. The child's smaller print is ghost white in the beam. The adult's boot is heavy, tread worn smooth in places. They head downhill. I radio dispatch. Reynolds, tracks located. 2 sets, heading down the slope past the creek. Proceed with caution. No sooner do I finish than the forest falls silent. Even the creek's gurgle dims, as if the world holds its breath. My flashlight flickers. I tap it. The beam steadies. We descend toward the creek crossing. The broken bridge looms, shards of wood jutting like broken ribs. The jacket from earlier lies half buried at the base of a beam. I scoop it up, heart twisting. A faint sob carries on the chill breeze. It sounds like a child. I freeze. Did you hear that? I whisper. Chen nods, face pale. Over there. He points toward thick undergrowth. I shine my light. A small figure hunched against a tree, blonde hair plastered to a dirty face. She's shivering, arms wrapped around knees. I approach slowly. Hey, it's okay. I'm Officer Reynolds. She looks up, eyes wide, wet. Relief and terror swirl there. "Help me," she whispers. My heart unclenches. "You're safe now." I slip off my jacket and wrap it around her shoulders. Her teeth chatter. Harris comes up behind. "Found her." I kneel. "What's your name?" She swallows. "Emily. Emily, can you walk?" She nods. I hold out my hand. She takes it, small and cold. We guide her toward the cruisers. As we emerge into the light, I radio in. Subject in custody, victim safe. Emily Richards, age 8. I glance back at the forest. It's quiet, empty. In the glow of the cruiser's dome light, Emily sits on the bench seat, trembling. Harris crouches beside her, offering water. I watch from the driver's side, gloves off, heart still racing. Dispatch crackles. "Good work, Reynolds. EMS and child services inbound." I exhale. "Copy." Emily sips, eyes darting to the trees. I give her a gentle smile. "You did great," she nods. He said don't trust him." Her voice quavers. I glance at Harris. "She saw the man?" Harris shrugs. "Maybe." I crouch. "Emily, can you tell me what happened?" She hugs the water bottle. "I was camping with my dad. He went to get wood, then I heard music, like a music box, so I followed it. I saw the box on a stone, and then the man. He grabbed me." Her lip trembles. He put me down and ran away. I ran too." My jaw tightens. "Where was your dad?" Her eyes fill. "I don't know. I couldn't find him." A cold knot forms. "All right, we'll find him." An hour later, Emily is safe with EMS, wrapped in a blanket. Jen drives her to the ambulance. I watch as the paramedics check her over. No injuries, just shock. Harris and I stand by the cruiser. The first pale light of dawn seeps through the trees. I stretch, muscles stiff. "Think her dad's still out there?" Harris asks. I nod toward the woods. "Must be, but that music box, he led her here." I shake my head. "Why?" Harris shrugs. "No clue, but we need to search that gravesite." I pull on gloves and step back into the forest. The oak with the music box lies 50 yards away. The moss-covered gravestone reads, "Mary Ellis, aged 8. I crouch, brush away leaves. The box is gone, picked up or carried off. The lid lies open on the ground, silent now. I press my flashlight into the hollow. Beneath the roots, fresh soil has been disturbed. Foot deep. I dig with my hands. Cold earth falls away, revealing a small, dirt-caked boot. I pull it out. It matches Emily's missing sneaker. Beneath it, a hand, small, pale. I freeze. "Jesus," I whisper. Harris's beam falls on the hole. He steps closer. "Reynolds?" I clear more soil. A shape emerges. A girl's dress, soil-stained, and beneath it a body. I stagger back, stomach lurching. "We've got a child." Harris places a hand on my shoulder. "Don't touch anything else." I pull out my radio. "Dispatch, we have a 1054. Possible body at the gravesite. Send coroner and homicide." The forest seems to exhale around us. The weight of what we've uncovered presses in. I look at the gravestone. Mary Ellis, died 1994. An unsolved disappearance. And now, Emily's father is missing. The realization cuts through me. The hoodie man wasn't just a random predator. He's connected to Mary Ellis. He's been luring kids here for decades, and somehow he's still out there. The wind stirs, leaves flutter. In the dim light, I swear I hear the music box tune, soft, distant, calling me deeper. I tighten my grip on the radio. I'm not leaving this place until we find him. Harris nods. Let's finish this. We step away from the clearing, into the misted dawn. The forest watches, silent. The early morning haze clung to my uniform as Harris and I tromped back toward the cruisers, the weight of what we'd uncovered settling like lead in my gut. The broken gravestone, the shallow pit, the tiny remains. It was worse than any scenario I'd imagined when I answered that call. Emily was safe, yes, but her father was gone, and Mary Ellis's case had just resurfaced in the most terrible way. I wiped sweat and mud from my brow even though the air was cold. Harris stood silently beside me, flashlight trained on the hollow where the body lay. The coroner's team would arrive soon, but for now the forest felt suspended, an unwilling witness to the horror we'd unearthed. "Let's mark this," I said softly, planting evidence flags around the pit. My hands trembled. I looked at the mossy headstone. Mary Ellis, aged 8. The letters blurred in the dim light. Whoever had carved "She Lied" beneath it had known something we didn't. Harris spoke up, voice low. "You think the hoodie guy killed Mary back in '94? I exhaled. Either him or someone using the same method. Luring kids with that damned music box. I glanced toward the ridge we'd chased him across. He's been doing this for 30 years. A shiver crawled up my spine. But why now? Why Emily? Harris shook his head. Don't know, but we need to search that area. He could be holed up in an abandoned hunting camp or something. We fanned out again, combing the slope toward the ridge. Every snapped twig made me jolt. Every rustle of leaves sounded like a footstep. My pistol felt heavy at my side. My flashlight beam jittered as adrenaline hammered through me. The forest had gone from eerie to openly hostile. 20 minutes later, we reached a rock outcropping overlooking a dry creek bed. Harris shone his light into an old hunting blind built 30 years ago. Rotted wood sagging, bullet holes pockmarking the walls. Inside, nothing but leaves and a torn scrap of fabric that matched the girl's jacket. He bagged it. We moved on, hearts hammering, until we reached a derelict cabin frame swallowed by vines. The door lay off its hinges. I radioed in coordinates. Reynolds to dispatch. Possible hide site. Recommend entry with caution. Harris nodded. He kicked at the threshold. After you. I stepped inside. The beam revealed a dirt floor strewn with broken glass and animal droppings. On a splintered table sat the music box, lid closed, silent. I swallowed hard. I reached out, lifted the lid. The tune began, slow, warped, unmistakable. My stomach clenched. Then the lid slammed shut on its own. I jumped back. Harris's light flicked over the walls. Someone had scrawled dozens of messages in dripping mud. He's not who you think. Run. They never leave. I'm sorry. My throat went dry. What the hell? Harris grabbed my arm. Reynolds, we've got to clear the rest of the cabin. We swept the room. Under a tattered blanket in the corner, I found an old Polaroid. A little girl in a white dress standing by that same oak tree. Except the date scrawled across the bottom read October 12th, 1986. The resemblance to Emily was uncanny. Same pale hair, same wide eyes. My blood ran cold. I radioed dispatch. We've got a time-stamped photo. Looks like Mary Ellis or someone identical. This cabin's been active for decades. Static. Then, units en route, sheriff's department. We stepped outside, the tune still echoing in my mind. The woods seemed to press in, branches creaking like joints. I swallowed. We need to get Emily's dad cleared as a suspect. He could be the next victim. Harris frowned. We haven't even found him. I paced. We will. But this guy's pattern is ritualistic. He brings them here, lures them with music, buries them at Mary Ellis's grave, then disappears. I glanced back at the cabin. He's taunting us. Later that afternoon, back at the station, I couldn't shake the image of the music box or the muddy messages. I sat at my desk, strewn with evidence photos, case files, radio transcripts. The station's corridor was silent, too silent. I tapped at my keyboard, logging the cabin search. Then I heard it. The faint, tinny notes of a music box drifting down the hallway. My head snapped up. The station was empty, lights off, save for my desk lamp. The melody grew louder, echoing off the concrete walls. My heart seized. I grabbed my flashlight and pistol and crept toward the sound. The notes led me past the holding cells, past the interrogation rooms, until I reached the evidence locker. The door stood ajar. Inside, among neatly tagged bags, lay the music box from the cabin, lid open, playing by itself. I stepped in. The door clanged shut behind me. I spun, flashlight beam dancing. The box's tune warped, slowing, as if resisting. My radio crackled. "Reynolds, you copy?" It was Harris. Relief washed over me. "Yeah, I'm at the evidence locker. The music box is here, by itself." Harris's voice tightened. "Lock it down." "I'm coming." I reached for the box. The moment my fingers brushed the lid, the tune ceased. Silence slammed into me. Then a whisper, "Help me." My blood ran ice cold. The voice was Emily's. I dropped the box. It kept playing, even without winding. The lid snapped open and closed in time with the melody. I fumbled for the door. It wouldn't budge. I slammed my shoulder into it. The lock clicked. I yanked it open and spilled into the hallway. The music stopped abruptly as I stepped out. Harris arrived, breathless. "What happened?" I pointed. The evidence locker was shut, locked. Inside, the box lay closed and silent. No sign it had ever moved. Harris frowned. "Let's secure it in the vault." We carried it away. But the tune replayed in my mind. That night, I couldn't sleep. The station's walls felt thin as though the forest had crept in. I drove back out to the ridge alone, flashlight and service weapon in hand. I reached the oak. The gravestone stood stark in moonlight. I sank to my knees and placed the music box atop it. The lid opened. No tune this time, just silence. I whispered, "I'm sorry, Mary. I'll find him." A breeze stirred. The box's lid slammed shut. I bolted upright. Footprints surrounded the grave. 2 sets, the small barefoot prints and the adult boots. They circled me, then led away into the trees on both sides. I shined the light along the trail. Nothing. Then, at the edge of the beam, I saw a flash of white, a girl's dress, then gone. I called out, voice cracking, "Emily? Dad?" Silence. I backed away, heart hammering. As I reached my cruiser, the beam caught on the rear window. Muddy handprints smeared on the glass. Small fingers splayed. I pressed my palm to the glass. No wetness, just cold. I climbed in, locked the doors, and sat shaking as the engine idled. The handprints remained, though no one was there. I thought of the jacket, the sneaker, the messages, the Polaroid from 1986, the whispers in the station. The pattern was clear. The forest, the cabin, the grave. It was a trap. He wanted us to find Mary's remains, to reopen an old wound. And now the forest itself seemed alive, feeding on our fear. I started the engine. As I turned onto the road, my radio crackled. A faint voice, barely audible, Emily's voice, whispering, "Find me." I slammed on the brake. The road ahead was empty, moonlit mud, slick. My radio fell silent. In the rearview mirror, I saw movement in the trees, something pale, standing just beyond the edge of the beams. A little girl, dressed dirty, hair plastered, watching. She tilted her head, lips curved in a sad smile. Then she raised a finger to her lips. "Shh." I blinked. She vanished. On the dashboard sat the music box. lid open, playing that warped lullaby. I punched the siren, lights flashing, and raced back toward the station. But the road stretched on, empty, the forest closed in. And somewhere behind me, the echo of small footsteps, and a soft, insistent whisper, "Don't trust him." I gripped the wheel. The mist swallowed the cruiser's taillights. I realized then that nothing was over. The woods had claimed its story, and now it was following me home. My radio crackled again. "Dispatch! Reynolds? You there?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. The music box played on, and in the mirror I saw another set of footprints trailing into the darkness. Barefoot, small, never-ending. The cruiser's engine hummed, but I didn't move. My knuckles were white on the wheel, eyes locked on the rearview mirror where those tiny footprints flickered in and out of sight. The music box's warped lullaby echoed in the cab, each note a nail in my skull. Dispatch kept calling, but I let it ring. There was only one thing I needed to do: confront whatever was following me. I killed the engine. Darkness pressed against the windows like a living thing. I stepped out, boots sinking into dew-soaked grass. The mist curled around the cruiser's headlights, turning them into pale halos. I grabbed the music box from the passenger seat and wound it tight. The tune began, slow, off-kilter. "All right," I whispered to the woods. "Let's see you." I walked backward, keeping my eyes on the mirror. The footprints trailed toward the tree line, then vanished at the forest's edge. I stepped onto the leaf-littered path, the music box guiding me like a beacon. Every nerve screamed to turn back, but I forced myself forward into the trees. The forest was silent except for that damned melody. No wind, no birds, no creek. Shadows dripped from branches. My breath came in shallow bursts. I traced the trail of prints. First adult boots, then the small barefoot marks. They led deeper than before, beyond the ridge, toward the abandoned ranger station. The station sat half-collapsed, roof caved in, windows gaping like empty eye sockets. I paused at the doorframe. The music box stuttered, then played on. I stepped inside. The floor was littered with rotted maps and rusted cans. On a desk lay a radio microphone, crackling with static. I keyed it. "Reynolds here. If anyone's out there, respond." Static hissed, then faintly, "Don't trust him." Emily's voice distorted. The hair on my neck stood up. I spun. In the corner, a pale shape leaned against the wall. Emily, soaked, eyes wide. She lifted a finger to her lips. "Shh." My heart shattered. "Emily?" She shook her head, gaze fixed on the music box in my hand. The tune warped, slowing to a crawl. The walls seemed to pulse. I stepped toward her. Footsteps, adult, heavy, echoed on the rotten floorboards behind me. I turned, gun raised. A figure emerged, hoodie man, face in shadow. He tilted his head, listening to the music. "Stop," I said. He raised empty hands, took a step closer. The air went cold. Emily whimpered. I edged between them. He whispered, voice raspy, "You shouldn't have brought it." I swallowed. "Brought what?" He nodded at the music box. Its lid snapped shut. Silence. Emily sobbed, pointing at the box. I opened it. The tune resumed. Only now, layered under it, was another melody. A child's laughter, distant and broken. My vision blurred. Hoodie man lunged. I fired. The shot cracked. He vanished. No body, no blood, just a hollow impact and the echo of his laugh. Emily screamed. The music box flew from my hand, skittered across the floor. Its lid slammed open and closed. I scooped Emily up. "Run!" I bolted for the door. The forest swallowed us. Outside, the mist had thickened into a wall. I hugged Emily, heart hammering. She pointed back at the station. Through the haze, I saw dozens of small footprints circling us. They stopped at the tree line. Emily whispered, "He's not alone." I turned the flashlight on full. The beam shattered the mist, revealing dozens of pale children, eyes empty, standing silent among the trees. Their mouths opened in unison, releasing that warped lullaby. Panic seized me. I ran, Emily in my arms, footprints trailing behind us, though we made no sound. The cruiser's lights beckoned. I fumbled keys, started the engine. The headlights cut through the ghosts. They dissolved at the beam's edge. I peeled away, tires spitting mud. In the mirror, the children stood at the forest's mouth, watching. The ranger station collapsed behind them as if it never existed. Emily buried her face in my shoulder. "Daddy?" I swallowed hard. We're safe now. But as the mist closed in behind us, the music box's tune drifted through the cab, unwound, endless, and I realized they'd gotten into the cruiser. We speed through the mist, tires churning mud, but the lullaby seeps into the cab, winding itself around us. Emily's grip tightens on my jacket, her small hand trembles. The rearview mirror shows nothing but swirling gray. I dare not glance again at those ghostly children. I slam on the brakes at the station's lot. My cruiser's engine idles like a heartbeat. "Stay here," I whisper, though I know she can't follow alone. She buries her face against me, silent. I kill the engine. The lullaby dies with it. For a moment, there is only the drone of distant traffic. I set Emily on her feet. She hugs the music box, eyes wide. "They're in the car," she says. Her voice is small but certain. I swallow. Okay. I step out into the damp night and round the cruiser. The door handle is cold. I lift the lid of the music box in my hand. No sound. I set it on the hood. "Stay behind me," I tell Emily, voice firm. She nods. We open the driver's door together. The seat is empty, no sign of ectoplasm or footprints. But as I slide into the passenger side to retrieve my flashlight, Emily points. On the driver's seat is a tiny sneaker, mud-caked, matching her missing pair, and next to it, the imprint of a small foot in fresh condensation on the leather. My heart hammers. I glance at Emily. Her eyes brim with tears. He left it. I pick up the sneaker gingerly. Inside, pressed into the tread, is a scrap of yellowed paper. I unfold it, scrawled in childlike handwriting, 4 words, "Don't leave me here." A breeze stirs. The station's neon sign flickers. I lock eyes with Emily. We're leaving, now. I start the engine and pull onto the main road. The sneaker and the note rest on the center console, mocking me. Emily huddles under the blanket I gave her, silent. I dial dispatch. "Reynolds, I'm out of the woods. We need safe transport for a minor, ASAP." Static, then acknowledgement. I kill the radio. I can't bear the thought of more voices in that forest. We roll to a stop under a street lamp. I scoop Emily into my arms. The sneaker and note stay on the console, illuminated in pale yellow light. I climb onto the curb and wait. Behind me, the music box on the hood ticks once, twice, though it's not wound. First turn. Nothing. When the patrol van arrives, deputies usher Emily inside. I stay by the cruiser, heart raw. I glance at the sneaker. The tread pattern is smeared, but I recognize another print stamped beside it. An adult's boot, identical to the boots we tracked. The sole bears a logo, a twisted tree. I close my fist around the shoe. Back at the station, I file the final report. I slip the sneaker and note into evidence. The music box goes into the vault. I write no further leads beside Mary Ellis's reopened case. My hands tremble. Night drifts toward dawn. I hollow out the coffee in the break room, staring at the steam. The station's corridors are quiet. I step outside for air. The sky bleeds gray. A patrol cruiser glides by, lights off. I watch it disappear. The forest lies just beyond the perimeter fence. I feel its pull. I pocket the key to my cruiser and the lab slip for the sneaker. I will follow every lead. But first, I need to drive home, to try to sleep. My street is empty at 5:30 a.m. Porch lights off. I park and kill the engine. Emily's words echo. They're in the car. I unlock the door and step inside my house. The hallway is dark, silent. I flick the light switch. Nothing. I pad barefoot to the living room. There, on the coffee table, sits the music box. Lid open, silent. Next to it, the sneaker, and on the tabletop, scrawled in mud, fresh, "Don't trust him." My chest tightens. I glance at the front door, locked, windows latched. I didn't bring mud inside. The chill in the air isn't from the morning chill. I step closer. The note's handwriting matches the paper scrap. I pick up the box. The moment I touch it, the lid snaps shut and the lullaby warps out of nowhere. Soft, distant, children laughing underneath. My skin crawls. I drop it. It continues playing on the table. I back away. Footsteps, small, bare, tap on the hardwood floor behind me. I whirl. Nothing but shadows. Then, at the edge of the beam from my phone's flashlight, I see her. Emily's reflection in the window. Except she's standing inside behind me, eyes mournful, lips trembling. Her dress is muddy. Her arms wrap around me from the glass. My breath catches. I stumble forward. The reflection smiles sadly and presses a handprint on the glass from the inside. But outside, the pain is dry. I don't know whether to call for her or run. The music box's tune slows, stretching each note into a question. I step back. The reflection fades. The living room is empty. The music box stops. Silence crashes in. In the doorway, the sneaker lies on its side, sole up, barefoot print pressed into the rug. Only one set. I kneel, trace the print with the shaking finger. Then I hear it. A soft giggle from the kitchen. I rise, hand on my service pistol, voice hoarse. "Emily!" No answer. The floorboards creak, the lights flicker. And somewhere behind me, the music box lid creaks open one last time. I spin. Darkness. Then, in the hush, a whisper. "Find me." I kill the engine and sit in the dark, heart pounding so loud I'm certain the whole block can hear it. The music box's last note hangs in the air, warped and broken. I close my eyes and force myself to breathe. Emily's sneaker and the mud-scrawled note lie on the console. Evidence now, but they feel like talismans of something far older and crueler. I step out into the pre-dawn hush. The world is empty. No birds, no wind, only the distant hum of a waking town. I tuck the sneaker into my jacket pocket and pocket the mud-stained note. In my other hand, the music box. Its lid ajar, silent. Behind me, my front door stands closed. I know I should go inside, lock it again, call for backup. But I can't leave the music box here. I carry it down the porch steps and across the yard, winding it one last time. The tinny lullaby sputters to life. I set the box on the hood of my cruiser. Its reflection wavers in the windshield. I lean in close, listening. The melody is slow, off-kilter. Then, faint beneath it, I hear a child's soft sob. My blood runs cold. "Emily," I whisper. Silence. Then the sob again, as if somewhere just beyond the trees. I snap off the box. The sob cuts out. I pick it up. The lid swings open and closed once, twice, then stillness. I wind it again. The lullaby resumes. Beneath it, unmistakable, a chorus of small voices chanting, "Don't trust him, don't trust him." I drop the box. It keeps playing on the hood. I step back. The mist drifts in low waves across the lawn, curling around the cruiser's tires. Footsteps, Bare, child light, tap behind me on the grass. I whirl, gun drawn, no one there. Only my footprints in the dew, and another set alongside them, small, barefoot, leading away into the mist toward the tree line. My radio crackles. Dispatch. Reynolds, you copy. Status. I glance at my handset. The screen reads, no signal. I pocket it. I stride to the tree line, flashlight in one hand, music box in the other. The beam slices through gray. The trees loom like silent sentinels. The barefoot prints lead onto the forest path, past the broken bridge, past the swing set frame now half shrouded in morning fog. Each footprint is fresh, pressed deep into the mud. My chest tightens. I follow. The tune from the box echoes in my mind, merging with the creaks of the forest. The deeper I go, the colder the air becomes. My breath puffs in clouds. I reach the oak, Mary Alice's grave. The music box lid snaps open on its own. The lullaby warps slower, each note dragging. I look down. The small prints circle the gravestone, then converge at its base. An adult boot print stands beside them. I kneel, heart hammering. In the soil at the foot of the stone, fresh dirt has been overturned. I scoop a handful, damp earth and a button, antique, brass, tarnished. I slip it into my pocket. A whisper drifts. Find me. I scan the trees. Sunlight seeps through. No child, no hoodie man, only the hush. Then the music box plays one final, crystalline note and dies. The forest exhales. I stand and turn away. The prints vanish at the trail's mouth. I walk back toward the clearing, toward my cruiser, leaving the music box on the gravestone. The box's body is cold, its melody ended. At the broken bridge, I pause. The jacket lies where I left it, muddy, empty. I shake my head. This place holds its secrets. Some answers are traps. I climb into the cruiser. The console light flickers on, illuminating the lone sneaker and the button on the floorboard. I pick up the button, a twisted tree emblem matching the Soul logo from the boot prints. My radio springs to life. Reynolds, are you there? Command wants an update. I lift the receiver. Dispatch, I'm clear, securing evidence. I'll file full report at station. The dispatcher's voice is distant. I kill the radio. The car is silent. I drive away slowly, eyes on the rearview mirror. The forest recedes, mist swirling at its edge. I glance down at the button in my palm. It's warm, inexplicably so. I pocket it. Some questions I'll never answer. Some children I'll never find. As the town lights come into view, I realize the story has slipped its leash. It followed me home. It lives in that button, in the echo of that lullaby, in the whisper on the wind. Don't trust him. I pull into the station lot. The sun peeks over the rooftops. I step out, jacket draped over my shoulder. In my other hand, the sneaker and the button. Behind me, the forest stands silent, watching, waiting. I lock the cruiser and head inside to file my report. But I know the woods will call again, and next time, I'm not sure I'll answer. I step from the cruiser into the yawning glare of the station's overhead lights. The morning sun cresting the roofline like a promise I no longer trust. The button in my palm feels unnaturally warm. Pulse beat warm, though the air is crisp. I slip it into my jacket pocket beside the mud-caked sneaker. Every instinct tells me to throw both into evidence and leave the rest buried in that forest. But instincts are unreliable now, warped by lullabies and child voices on the wind. I cross to the station door. It swings open before I touch it as if pushed by an unseen hand. The empty lobby smells of coffee and stale vinyl. Sergeant Morales looks up from the desk, eyes rimmed with sleeplessness. Reynolds, she says, voice measured. You okay? Heard you called it in dark. No signal. Radio died. I nod, forcing calm. Signal's back. I locked everything in the cruiser. Got 2 items, sneaker, button, music box stays out there. I point beyond the windows at the tree line shimmering in late daylight. I left it on Ellis's grave. Her brow furrows. You sure? Evidence chain. I know. I hold up my hand. But that box, it's not evidence, it's a beacon. I pause, watching her face. Something wants me to pick it up again. I can't risk bringing that back here. She studies me. Report? I drop the sneaker and button on the evidence table. They thud softly against the metal. Found tracks leading from my cruiser into the woods. Child size, barefoot, and 1 adult boot print with that same twisted tree emblem button at its heel. Followed them to Mary Ellis's grave. Box wound itself, played voices. I heard Emily crying and kids chanting, "Don't trust him." Then Prince vanished. Morales picks up the button, turns it in her fingers. That emblem. This county sheriff's detachment uses it on our uniforms. Modified oak tree with roots. She glances at the sneaker. And the sneaker matches size for missing child case. Emily Hartford, 8 years old, went missing 2 nights ago. Same model. Mud-scrawled note, "Find me before he does." I swallow. Yeah, note said more, but I can't read the rest. Mud smeared it. I kept it in pocket. I rubbed my temple. Dispatch logged me out until I came in. Command will want a full statement. After that, I want to go back. Morales's lips tighten. You want to chase ghosts? I look at the gravestone visible through the lobby windows, half shrouded in mist, retreating under sunlight. Number I want to find Emily. If that box can point me to her, I have to follow. She exhales. You're going back alone? I nod. Until I know more, I'll call if I find anything, or if something finds me. I pick up the sneaker and button. I'll be careful. She watches me go, uncertain. I head back into the lot. My cruiser sits under the oak's shadow. I slide in behind the wheel. The door closes with a hollow clang. Footsteps, soft, childlike, tap on the roof. I look up through the windshield. Nothing. My heart hammers. I kill the engine. I wind the music box once more. The tinny lullaby sputters. I hold it in my lap, breath steadying. Beneath the melody, faint sobs, Emily's sobs, mix with the chanting, find me, don't trust him." The lid snaps open and closed once, twice, then silence. My radio crackles. "Reynolds? You there? It's Morales." Relief washes me. I lift the receiver. "I'm here, heading back to the woods. Got a lead." I tuck the mic away. "Don't wait up." I step onto the forest path. The morning fog has lifted, but the ground is damp. The barefoot prints have vanished, but I trust the box. I follow the music box melody in my mind, imagining it guiding me deeper. Each step crunches leaves and twigs. The trees stand like watchers, bark faces turned inward. The air smells of moss and something older, iron, earth, decay. I reach the broken bridge. The boards sag, water trickles beneath. I set the box on the railing. Wind stirs the ribbon tied to its latch. I wind it. The lullaby plays. No chanting this time, only a single child's voice whispering, "This way?" A small breeze drifts across the bridge, carrying the scent of wet leaves and distant lilac. I cross. On the far side, the ground is softer. I see faint footprints. Adult boot, mud-smeared sneaker, then nothing. But at the edge, the box vibrates in my hand. I follow the tremor like a pulse, deeper into the thicket until the path curves around a toppled headstone I haven't seen before. The stone lies face down, letters worn away. Moss clings to its edges. Beneath it, earth is freshly turned. I kneel and brush away soil. A small handprint, tiny, perfect, pressed into the clay. My breath catches. Next to it, an indentation, the sneaker's tread. And then, deeper, something metallic glints. A child-sized locket, half buried. I pick it up. On one side, an engraved initial, E. On the other, the twisted tree emblem. My heart thunders. Emily's locket, tied to that same symbol. I open it. Inside, a faded photograph. A little girl with dark curls and bright eyes, holding hands with a man in a uniform, oak leaf insignia on his collar. The girl smiles. The man's face is stern, features unfamiliar, blurred. I close the locket, voice tight. Emily? No answer. The locket goes in my pocket. The music box lid creaks open, silent now. I stand. The forest is unnaturally quiet. Then a giggle, a child's laugh, light and distant. It echoes among the trunks. I follow the sound, heart in my throat. The path slopes downward to a sunken clearing ringed by oaks. In the center, a weathered carnival ride, a small carousel, horses frozen in mid-gallop, paint peeling. The ground around it is churned mud. I step closer. The carousel's music mechanism is gone, empty chamber gaping. Yet I hear the creak of metal and the hum of the lullaby in my mind. Footprints circle the ride, adult boots, bare feet, and one sneaker. They stop at a single horse, black with glass eyes. Mud scrawled on its side. He's here. I swallow. The air tilts. The trees lean inward. I feel watched. I raise my flashlight. Beam lands on the horse's glass eye, reflecting my face warped. I step back. The carousel horse's head seems to jerk, as if breathing. A voice whispers, "Help me!" It's Emily's voice. Tiny, trembling. I spin around. Between two oaks, I see a flicker. White sneaker, small shape. I call softly, "Emily, I'm here." The shape retreats. I step forward. Mist coils at my feet. The flashlight trembles in my hand. Then a figure steps into view. A man in an old uniform. Oak leaf insignia on collar. Brass button on chest. His face is pale. Eyes dark hollows. He holds Emily's hand. She looks real, alive, eyes wide with terror. He tips his head, his lips part in a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "Officer Reynolds," he says, voice hollow as wind through dead branches. "You shouldn't be here." My pulse surges. "Who are you? Where's Emily?" He lifts the girl's head. Her eyes are empty black pools. "She's safe," he intones, "with me." I step forward, gun raised. "Let her go." He laughs, a hollow metallic sound. The carousel horse's glass eyes gleam. The man takes a step back. The girl follows. "You can't save her, not until you join us." I squeeze the trigger. The shot echoes. The man flickers, like a projection, and vanishes. Emily screams, a raw, piercing sound, then silence. I lower the gun, heart hammering. The girl stands alone by the carousel. Her face is pale. She takes a step toward me. I rush forward, scoop her up. She's cold, ice cold, and limp. Her head lolls. I cradle her, whispering, "I've got you. I've got you." Her blanket smell fills my senses, though she wears only muddy clothes. I scan the clearing. No sign of the man, no footprints except mine and hers. The carousel horse's glass eye cracks, spiderweb fissure, then falls silent. The mist retreats. Sunlight breaks through the canopy, illuminating the girl in my arms. I blink. The forest exhales. I race back up the slope, Emily in my arms. The ride, the headstone, the bridge. It all fades behind me as if swallowed by the woods. At the broken bridge, I cross without stopping. At the cruiser, I set her gently on the hood. She coughs, breath ragged, then blinks up at me. "Officer, sir?" Her voice is small, confused. I kneel, tense. "Emily Hartford, I'm Detective Reynolds. You're safe now." I glance at the music box on the dashboard. It lies silent, lid closed. She nods, tears in her eyes. He sang to me, told me not to trust you. My stomach twists. I help her off the hood. She stands unsteadily. I take her hand. You trust me now? She hesitates, then nods. Yes. I scoop her into the passenger seat. She curls into the warm interior. I close the door, then wind the music box one last time. The lullaby sputters, slow and warped, then stops. I kill the engine and sit for a moment, heart pounding. My radio crackles. Reynolds, status, Morales' voice, anxious. I lift the receiver. Emily's safe, I'm bringing her in. I pause. And I've got evidence, a button, a sneaker, a locket, and a story. I set the mic down. I drive toward town, Emily sleeping in the seat beside me. The morning sun warms the windshield. I glance at the rearview mirror. Forest at the road's edge, silent. No mist, no phantom man, no child prints, just trees, but I know better. The music box lives in my pocket now, its ribbon warm against my leg. The locket lies next to it, buttoned beneath. The story isn't over. It lives in those talismans, in Emily's nightmares, in the echo of that hollow lullaby. I pull into the station bay. Lights flash, medics rush out. Morales meets me. She takes Emily, wraps her in a blanket, coaxes her toward the ambulance. I step back, heart heavy. Morales says, "You did good." I nod, jaw tight. We found her, but something followed us out. She studies me. Then we burn it down. I look at the cruiser, the forest beyond. Or we learn its name. Morales' brow lifts. Name? I reach into my pocket and lift the music box. It calls itself Guardian, but it lies. She glances at the box, uneasy. Then we lock it up. I wind it. The lullaby plays. Slow, warped. Then beneath it a chorus. Don't trust him, don't trust him. I slam the lid shut. Silence. I turn to Morales. Some promises can't be kept, some stories never end. She nods. We carry Emily inside. The station doors close. The box and button and locket lie on the cruiser's seat, a trio of mysteries. And beyond the glass the forest stands watching, waiting for its next note to play.